Sup, guys? It's Toad back with you. This is Better Off Dead. This is going to be the NFL season win total special. I've been saying that I was going to do this for a while, and I know the lines have probably moved. And with NFL season win totals, I mean, every half game matters pretty much. So I guess my apologies for not getting this up sooner, but I'm going to give my thoughts on it. I'll give you a couple that I think are probably the strongest ways to look. I'm probably not going to be playing any of these myself. I mean, of course, as I have mentioned on my show many times, I'm not even actually betting right now. Oh my God, I have no voice, too. I apologize. Excuse me. Need some water here. But I have sparingly kind of bet on NFL win totals. Like I would say maybe every other year or so I'll throw like one, sometimes maybe even a couple down, but I just don't like having my money tied up for that long. But if you guys want to know what I think about them, hell yeah, let's do it. I don't even know where I want to begin on this because I haven't actually done like a special for NFL win totals before. But Charles, what's up, man? Yeah, late night on a Sunday too. I mean, you got to be a real degenerate to do this on the Lord's Day. But we only have 8 minutes left, man. So it'll be Monday soon enough. Let's get into it, man. So I'm going to use ESPN has this season win totals game, and I'm going to have this up just because I need some way of gauging what does the public think about this particular win total, because you're going to see pretty quickly that I just basically want to go against whatever the public thinks for the most part on every single win total. But I'll tell you which ones I think are like actually really strong, and there are really only a couple that come to mind. So I'm going to be essentially, what you really want to do with the win totals is you want to go you want to take a contrarian approach. I mean, that's what I do in like basically all of my betting anyway. You want to kind of do that, but you also want to hit the spots where you think it's like the most advantageous. So you want to find like teams that have made like big personnel changes. And if they've made big personnel changes that the public thinks are like a positive, you kind of want to go against that. And you also kind of want to go against what did we see last year? And if there are certain teams that kind of had like an outlier year that was like really good for some reason or really bad for some reason that is probably not going to be something that's going to continue like season to season, then you could look to like fade what that result was last year. And I'm going to mention at least two of those types of plays are actually like the favorite ones that I have. There are really two that come to mind that are like the things that I think are the best two, which I will tell you about. You want me to do a special on the Devers trade? Yeah, thank you, David. The Devers trade is another one where I'm going against the grain. If you've seen my tweets on it, I mean, I'll just mention it real quickly. I mean, I didn't expect it to happen, but I understand the reasons why. I mean, I think it's a positive. Like, basically all the Red Sox fans are flipping out about it. It's like, what are they doing, man? They just swept the Yankees. The Red Sox are, like, tied for the last wild card spot right now, whatever. Look, man, they just don't think Devers fits into this team mold. And I've been criticizing the Red Sox management this whole time, but this is not a move that I'm going to criticize. Devers, he makes too much money, and I don't know how much of the contract the Red Sox are going to still have to pay off. But if this like frees them up to get like other pieces, I think it's definitely a good thing if it gives them some money back to do other things with. Devers, he's proven himself to not be a team player, man. He's an awful fielder, so really all he is a bat. He can't field. Yeah, he's a pretty good hitter, but is it good enough to justify, what they're paying him? Good enough to justify taking up the DH spot with him? I mean, he's not David Ortiz, okay? I mean, David Ortiz was like, there are only really like a few guys that are like legitimately like, this guy is so good that we'll just put him in the DH spot and we can justify it. And it's like David Ortiz, like Vlad Guerrero, I guess, although he played the outfield somewhat, right? But those Vlad Guerrero Sr., I mean, and maybe Junior does too, I don't even know. And Edgar Martinez is the other big one that comes to mind. Yeah, other than that, yeah, I don't think that it's justified just sticking Devers in the DH. Yeah, thank you. David Ortiz, I mean, one of the best hitters of all time. Of course, that was also back when probably everybody was using steroids, which is not the case anymore. Hitters are just less valuable now than they were before, man. The Red Sox need pitching, and their pitching rotation is awful, and they got some pitchers that might turn out to be good that are still fairly young. in this trade. But I think, again, more so, we don't know who those prospects are. I didn't see who the minor leaguers were that they got in that trade, but they might turn out to be good. I apologize. I'm also drinking coffee here because I need caffeine 24/7, man. I gotta especially do it late at night. Oh, and I'm also wearing my Red Sox hat, so I'm qualified to talk about this Devers thing. But yeah, I mean, I just think, again, he's not a team player. He's refusing to. I don't even know where my train of thought was going there. Yeah, they were getting the minor league players. I mean, they might turn out to be good too. I don't even know who they got, but again, I think they're freeing up some money as well. And Devers, again, I think he was a net negative to the team just because he was complaining about them getting Bregman, and it's like, dude, Bregman is a Gold Glove third baseman, and you're like the worst fielding third baseman of all time. So, like, what do you expect? Like, move out of the third base position, which he did, but I mean, he basically had to, just bow to the team in doing so, but he definitely bitched about it. And then he wouldn't play first base when they wanted him to, and Casas got hurt. Whatever, man. I mean, Red Sox are, it's also kind of a long-term move because they're creating a new team right now with all these guys they're bringing up, these young guys. Like, this is like the next wave of the team, basically, and they're trying to like do something here, and they don't think Devers fits into that mold. They don't really have a position for him, and I think that's fine. So, yeah, I mean, maybe they should have tried to get a little bit more for him, but I mean, I think it's good, and it makes sense for San Francisco to do it because their offense has been awful. And again, they only scored 4 runs tonight against the Dodgers and lost that game. So San Francisco, they have not been good offensively. All right, let's get into season win totals, man. This is going to take probably a long fucking time because I'm going to talk about every single fucking team. Hopefully this doesn't take too long, but I'm going to just go in order, which I think these are in order based on, I think it's just ESPN that has them alphabetical based on city or whatever. So the Baltimore Ravens are the first team up, where ESPN has them listed at a total of 11.5 wins, which, remember, we're talking about 17-game season now instead of a 16-game season. So keep that in mind, which is why the totals seem a little bit higher than they used to be. And then I double-check over here on DraftKings, like, what's the actual number? Yeah, this one is basically right around there, like the actual number you can see. So DraftKings has a bunch of alternate numbers here, but you can tell which one is kind of like what they're saying is the actual number based on which one is the closest to minus 110 on each side, basically. So basically that's the 11.5 here. It's just slightly juice to the over, the minus 115 at DraftKings. Probably the numbers probably differ book to book. I just use DraftKings. Actually, let me zoom in a little bit on that. Yeah, so I don't know what else to say about that, but some of these we're going to notice because Buffalo, I'm going to talk about next. With Buffalo, they're basically saying that the number is actually probably somewhere closer to actually, I guess, 12, because the over 11.5 is like juiced. But as you can see, they only are offering every odd number on the half, basically, which is kind of weird. That you'd think they'd offer every number at least on a half, but they're not. I don't know why DraftKings is doing it that way. I guess because they don't want to give you such granularity that it allows you to beat them more easily, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, the public is on the over with the Ravens. 87% of the public is on the over. We all know the Ravens, they made the playoffs multiple years in a row. They've gotten pretty deep into the playoffs multiple years in a row, and they probably really underachieved those last couple of times. But when you're looking at the season win totals, you also have to kind of take into account, well, who are they going to play this year? So where's their division? There it is, the AFC North. You got to look at, were there any like major personnel changes here with the Ravens? Really no. I mean, we're still talking about Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Flowers. We're talking about basically the same team. They wound up getting DeAndre Hopkins. I don't even remember when they got him, but I don't know if he's even really going to be a big piece there. But they have another, experienced wide receiver there. I don't think it matters that much. We're basically talking about the same Ravens team. So this is one that it would not be one that I would put my money on one way or the other. But you look at their schedule. I mean, their schedule is going to be fairly difficult because the teams that do better, they get a more difficult schedule because the way the NFL schedules, the way they make the schedule is that whatever place you came in your division, you have to play all the other teams in your conference that came in that place in the division. So, like, if Baltimore won their division, which I think they did, they won the AFC North, that means they have to face all the other teams that won the divisions in the AFC. They have to face one specific division in the NFC. Plus, I think maybe with the 17th game, I think they have to play one additional team in the NFC too, whichever one that might be. So that aspect of it is kind of random. And then I think they also play one entire division in the AFC as well, besides their own. And then, of course, they play their own division, 2 games against each team. But, they start off with a difficult game right away at Buffalo. So, I mean, that's a big game for the Ravens, which I actually think the Ravens are probably going to win that game because it's a huge revenge spot for the Ravens, playoff revenge, but that's a difficult game. They have easy games in here, a couple of games against Cleveland that they should win. Pittsburgh, we really don't know what is going to happen with Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh always plays Baltimore tough. So, Pittsburgh has Aaron Rodgers now. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen with them, but I don't expect Baltimore-Pittsburgh to be an easy game for either team. They have to play at Kansas City. This, first 4 weeks is really brutal for the Ravens. They got to play the Detroit, Kansas City. I mean, that's not easy. Houston's not even that easy. I mean, Rams might be a decent team as well. They have an easier, kind of stretch run here, though, where the schedule kind of lets up. So Ravens actually, as you look throughout the season, like to play bets, to place bets on a game-by-game situation, you might see the Ravens have a bad record early in the season, and then it's going to start to get way better later in the season when they start facing all these easier teams to beat. They have a pretty easy late season schedule. So what are we going to get out of the Ravens here? I think the number's pretty much right where it should be. I forget what was their record last year. I don't even remember. It was probably, what did they have, 13 wins, maybe something in that ballpark. I don't even remember what they had, but so the public is going to expect them to go over. I would just, I would slightly lean to the under, I guess, just fading the public and expecting maybe a little bit of regression. But I don't think the Ravens, they're probably not going to lose every one of those tough games early in the season, right? They're not going to start out 1-3 or 1-4, I wouldn't imagine. They might be around 500 after that stretch, though. But then once you get through that, there's not that much room for error there. So if they drop a couple of games with their favorite, you could see this potentially going under, but they are going to be a good team. Probably not a whole lot to say about that. Buffalo, ESPN has them at 11.5 as well. But with Buffalo, though, I mean, DraftKings is basically telling you the real number is actually closer to 12 here based on what the odds are here, with over 11 being at -175. I would probably not want to play the Buffalo under, although the public loves Buffalo, but Buffalo has not really shown any reason to not love what they do in the regular season, really, for the most part. I mean, they still have a similar makeup to their team as well. I mean, it's pretty much Josh Allen, and the team just kind of goes from there. They might need to improve their defense a little bit, but I mean, I don't know if there are really any major changes here for Buffalo either. I mean, you're pretty much looking at Josh Allen and his crew there pretty much. So Buffalo's probably going to have a similar, it's probably going to be similar to last year, and they have a few difficult games in here as well. They get Kansas City at home. Always a big game between Buffalo and Kansas City. Buffalo at least has shown the ability to beat them in the regular season. They just can never beat them in the playoffs. They got Baltimore right out of the gate, which, again, I don't think is going to be easy. But Buffalo actually has a somewhat weak schedule, to be honest. I mean, they get Philadelphia late, which isn't that easy, but that's also at home. So, some of their most difficult opponents are actually at home. They're facing the NFC South, which is not as difficult. I mean, that's not a very good division. New Orleans, Carolina might slightly improve, but, I mean, Atlanta's pretty much a total wild card. Tampa, mediocre. So, Buffalo, I mean, the number I think is probably right on as well at 12. I mean, I would probably lean towards an over for Buffalo, to be honest, in the regular season. You think 13-4 for Buffalo or Baltimore? I don't know. I mean, I think Buffalo, I think, is going to wind up with a better record than Baltimore this year based on their schedule. Just looking at it real quick. But then, of course, for scheduling dynamics, you kind of have to figure out, oh, well, if they're coming off a big game, they might have, a lapse in the next game. It's I mean, I don't know. It's difficult to go through like every single component of the schedule, like with that, fine tooth of a comb. But, I mean, that's the way it is. All right, we're starting out with like a bunch of teams that are like the top teams in the NFL right out of the gate. Kansas City Chiefs sitting at 11.5 as well. And of course, the public is all over the over for Buffalo here at 92% in this game, but I'm not sure that they're wrong on that one. Because of course the 11.5 is actually not the real number that the books are given out there. So it probably opened at 11.5 and it probably moved up. Like, these lines have been out for a while, and I think the books brought these lines out like a few weeks ago or a couple weeks. So they've had time to kind of move. So again, if you like some of these numbers, you probably missed out on some of the best numbers. Kansas City, ESPN has them at 11.5 as well. 72% are picking the over in that one because, of course, the public is going to go with Kansas City. They're going to go, it's Patrick Mahomes still. They're going to go with Kansas City to go over. But Kansas City, yeah, I mean, difficult to call. Baltimore was only 12-5 last year. Oh, all right. I thought they were 13-4, but all right. Yeah, one of those two. They had, I mean, they're in a difficult division at least, but well, actually, I forgot to mention with Baltimore also, they have to face the Bengals twice, and the Bengals, once I get to them, I'm going to say that they're probably going to do a little bit better than they did last year. So the Bengals are not an easy out either. Cleveland is terrible, but the rest of that division is going to be pretty difficult. All right. For the Kansas City Chiefs, man, I mean, I have a stronger opinion on this one. It's not one of my top two, but I do have kind of a strong opinion to the under for Kansas City. I don't know what their actual line is. Like, what do we have for Kansas City here? Let's find it. KC Chiefs. So the line is sort of right there at 11.5. There is some juice to the under there. I mean, I would lean to the under 11.5 for Kansas City. I mean, the thing about Kansas City, man, is we saw what they were doing last year, right? Like, I think they were getting lucky in a lot of cases last year. I mean, I know it's Patrick Mahomes. I know they've made 3 straight Super Bowls. They won 2 Super Bowls in a row. But, yeah, I mean, it's Patrick Mahomes, and it's kind of just like, I don't know that the rest of what they have is that good, to be honest. I mean, of course, they do have, some young guys that they have on their offense that are becoming really good. Like Xavier Worthy looks like he's going to be really good. But they still don't have that much of a ground game, as far as I know, in Kansas City. I mean, who do they even have right now? But the main 2 reasons why I think Kansas City goes under here is their record last year was way better than it should have been. Like, they had so many close wins, and we know the refs, that was the whole thing. The refs were giving Kansas City so many calls, and yeah, it might happen again. The refs are going to give them the benefit of the calls, but it seemed like it happened so many times last year. It was like one call or one play over and over again gave Kansas City so many more wins. And if you take even like half of those games and you take those wins away from Kansas City, I think they would go under this number. And in addition to that, the team that loses the Super Bowl usually has a bit of a hangover. It's like a curse. Like we saw that with the 49ers last year, and I'm going to talk about the 49ers in this video as well. What happened to the 49ers after they lost the Super Bowl the year prior to last? They had a terrible season last year. I mean, I know they had a ton of injuries. They definitely underperformed, which hint, you know what I think about the 49ers this upcoming season, just based on what I'm saying there probably. But it's like, yeah, I mean, it's a curse. You come off losing the Super Bowl, it's kind of like you're a little bit defeated coming into the next season. And because you made the Super Bowl, everybody still likes you, like you're overrated, especially with Kansas City, because they've won so many games in a row. But again, their offense just was not very good. Yeah, their defense was good. I think that's going to continue to be the case here, even though, yeah, they have one of the best quarterbacks, but the surrounding cast, just not great there. And the way they run their offense, they were just not an explosive offense anymore. So I think Kansas City does regress here for all those reasons in the Super Bowl hangover season, and they're having to face a difficult schedule just because they won their division. I mean, facing the Chargers with Harbaugh there now, I mean, that's not going to be easy. They get Philadelphia Super Bowl rematch. I mean, Kansas City is going to get up for that game. That's certainly not an easy game. Baltimore, that's difficult. They have to face Detroit, Buffalo. Denver is going to probably give them a difficult game. I mean, Denver's going to play them tough. They get, of course, the Chargers twice. Dallas might improve because Dallas was really hamstrung with injuries last year. They have to face Washington. I mean, that's not an easy out either now at this point. Not that easy of a schedule for Kansas City, really. They get Houston again, and Houston's going to be in playoff revenge mode. We don't know how good or bad Indianapolis is going to be. I mean, that's not necessarily a cakewalk either there. So it's not really an easy schedule for Kansas City either. So I think under is the way to go, and that's probably going to be, I mean, I would say that's probably in my top 3 win totals would be Kansas City under. So yeah, I would look under with them. Philadelphia, they're sitting at 11.5 in ESPN's game here as well, with 91% of pickers picking the over, because of course they are. I mean, Philadelphia just won the Super Bowl. Let me see here. Philadelphia, by the way, they were another team that regressed a bit after they lost the Super Bowl. So their line on DraftKings is right at 11.5. So that is the number. For Philadelphia, whoops, I just collapsed that. I would lean to them under as well. I mean, I think with them having just won the Super Bowl, I think they might be a little bit overvalued coming into this season. I mean, sure, they're a good team. Sure, they just won the Super Bowl. I know there's some talk about potentially banning the tush push, which I don't think it's actually going to happen, but maybe it will. But as far as Philadelphia, I mean, what do they have? I didn't look at Kansas City's depth chart, by the way, but I mean, Philadelphia, similar team to last year. I mean, they still got Brown, Smith, Barkley, Hurts, Goddard. It's all still pretty much the same on offense. I mean, I don't really know the defensive personnel as well, so harder to speak on that. Except for Cooper DeJean, man. Cooper DeJean, however you pronounce his name. Let me look at the depth chart, actually, for Kansas City real quick, just to see if there are any really significant changes there. I don't really think that there were, but yeah, they still have Pacheco, Rice, Worthy, Mahomes. Hollywood Brown was hurt a bit last year, so he'll be back. Kelsey, obviously, still there. So, I mean, it's very similar for Kansas City. Not a whole lot to see there. As far as the Eagles, where are we at here? Come on, man. There it is. Eagles schedule. I mean, they're again going to have a difficult schedule because they won their division last year. They have to face Kansas City again in that Super Bowl rematch at Arrowhead. I think that's probably going to be a Kansas City win, in my opinion, because I like that revenge angle. Dallas right out of the gate. I mean, Dallas is going to play them tough. I mean, that's a big divisional rivalry. I mean, they get Minnesota in here. We don't know if Minnesota's good or bad. They have to face Green Bay and Detroit. So that's not going to be that easy either. They're having to face the NFC North, man. Those are difficult. Washington, Buffalo, and Washington. I mean, look at how they closed the season. Washington, Buffalo, Washington, all in a row. And that last game is a flex game, so I don't even know like when it's going to get scheduled, really. And they face the Chargers in there, too. Not a very easy schedule, really, for Philadelphia either, man. So I'm going to say, yeah, I think probably the under is worth a look there. I don't like it as much as the Kansas City one. But, yeah, I would go under with Philadelphia as well there, under the 11.5. And I know, not all of these are going to work out. I'm going to be on a lot of unders, but that's just the way that it is. Cincinnati at 10.5 here, according to ESPN's game here. What is their actual number? Cincinnati, it looks like their actual number is right in that range. Over 9.5 is at minus 150 right now. 10 is probably where the number basically is. I mean, at 9.5, even paying 150 for it, I think I would go over that number, man. I like Cincinnati to bounce back. And of course, you can see the public likes the under, because again, the public is always basically they're going to go with what they saw last. Oh, Cincinnati didn't even make the playoffs last year. Well, we're going to go under, right? 63% picking the under. I would go over on Cincinnati, like over something in the 10 range. I think I would go over. I mean, Cincinnati, it came down to the very last week of the season last year. Cincinnati was right there trying to make the playoffs. Of course, they just put themselves in a big hole, man, Cincinnati. And they had to try to climb out of the hole, and they made a nice run at the end of the season. They almost got into the playoffs. But we know Cincinnati, I mean, with Joe Burrow there, he's still there, obviously. I mean, they are a team that is pretty much continuously in the playoffs. They still have the same team pretty much. Chase Brown, Jamar Chase, the two Chases. T. Higgins is still there. Very similar composition to this team. And, of course, this is all barring injuries. I mean, if some key player gets injured, I mean, of course, all bets are off, obviously. And if you have an over with that team, it might be a problem. Of course, if you're playing a lot of unders, by the way, I mean, if you play a lot of unders, then you're really kind of like hedging for injuries too. Because if you have an under on a team and then somebody gets injured, it's going to help your under. But I like the over with Cincinnati. I mean, they still have that pretty much the same team there. Yeah, their defense is definitely a problem. Their defense was terrible last year, and that's kind of why they kind of fell apart a little bit. But Cincinnati, I mean, they had a couple of games in there that they absolutely should have won. They lost the first game of the season to New England last year, and that was just because Cincinnati, they had all this kind of turmoil leading into the season, and there was I think Jamar Chase was holding out for a new contract, and there was just stuff going on. I think Burrow was coming back from injury as well or something like that. There was just a bunch of crap going on that distracted them, and I just don't think they took the Patriots seriously, and they lost that game as a big favorite. And if Cincinnati had just won that one game, which they should have, I think they were a home favorite in that game, they'd have been in the playoffs. So I think Cincinnati does get back to the playoffs. And by the way, if you want to bet Cincinnati to make the playoffs, I don't know what the odds are on that, but that might be a good bet as well. I like them over their season win total as well. And because Cincinnati did not win their division, I believe they actually came in third in their division, right? They were behind both Pittsburgh and Baltimore. So what that means is that they were in a really tough division, right? So they were still pretty good, but they came in third in their division. That gives them a little bit of an easier schedule. Although they have to face the NFC North, which isn't that easy. So they do have to face Minnesota, Detroit, Green Bay. That's not going to be easy. I mean, Pittsburgh and Baltimore, obviously, those are going to be difficult as well. Yeah, it's a difficult schedule. They do have to face Buffalo in there as well. It's not that easy of a schedule, but I think it's sort of kind of a mid-range schedule. And the end of the season actually might help them out here, man, because they actually end the season with some fairly easy games, to be honest. I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen with Miami, and they probably will have Tua back, but I mean, the last 3 games don't look that difficult to me at all for Cincinnati. Miami and then Arizona and Cleveland both at home. So I do like the over for Cincinnati there, man. We may see Pittsburgh. Well, I mean, I'll talk about Pittsburgh when we get to it. We may see them take a little bit of a step back, unfortunately, because I like Aaron Rodgers and I want him to do well, but I'm not that high on Pittsburgh this year. The Detroit Lions sitting at 10.5 here with 90% of pickers picking the over for Detroit because, of course, they are. I mean, Detroit had a great season last year. They had the best record in the NFC, I believe, right? They were the 1 seed in the NFC. And they did get knocked out of the playoffs by Washington. Detroit, I mean, they're on an upward trajectory, though, right? Because they were in the playoffs the year before that, and they almost pulled off the upset of San Francisco. They were kind of, getting used to being in the playoffs in a position like that. Last year, they were the number 1 seed, man. So they were in a position they were absolutely not used to. But this Detroit team, I mean, we're going to be looking at a team that's good again. I mean, they still have Goff, Gibbs, St. Brown, Laporta, and I think Laporta was hurt for part of last year too, right? I mean, they've had some injuries going on, but they have pretty much the same team. And remember, Detroit had some massive defensive injuries last year. Hutchinson broke his leg against Dallas or whatever, and he was out for the rest of the season. Anzalone missed a huge chunk of the season, and they're 2 of their best defensive players. That really hurt their defense, which Detroit, I don't think they have the greatest defense, but with those guys back, you got to expect Detroit is going to, I mean, even without those guys, they got the 1 seed last year. So Detroit, I mean, yeah, with Detroit, I'm not so sure that I really like the under with Detroit, man. We're looking at here. The number is actually at 10.5 juice to the under, though. So if you like fading the public, I mean, that does look like a public fade. The public likes the over the 10.5. The under 10.5 is actually juiced at -120. So it does actually look like the play based on the market is under 10.5. I'm not quite so sure about that, although they do have a difficult schedule. I mean, they're in a tough division. They got to play Green Bay twice, Minnesota twice. Although really, I don't know how good Minnesota's really going to be, but they do have to face Baltimore, Cincinnati, Kansas City. I mean, Tampa might still be the best team in the NFC South there. They got to face Pittsburgh. They do have Dallas, who might not be that bad. Philadelphia, that's difficult. Washington, fairly difficult as well. So, yeah, I mean, the Rams are also probably going to be a difficult out as well. So they don't really have an easy schedule, which might be part of the reason why the money's coming in on the under. I mean, I would really hesitate to look towards an under though with Detroit, man. I mean, I just think that. I mean, they played well even without those really good defenders last year. So even though Detroit fell short of what they should have done in the playoffs, maybe they overperformed a little bit by getting the 1 seed last year, but they don't even need to be close to getting to having the best record in the NFC to get over the 10.5, man. So I don't know. To me, even though the public's going to look at that, I think that's a low number, and like they're all going to go over on that. So I don't love that it's going to be a really heavy public overplay. So I would really hesitate to do it, but I'm definitely not jumping out of my seat to go under on the Detroit season win total there. Next up is the Chargers. Yeah. Where under is getting, people don't like the Chargers, man. Under 10.5 is being picked at 77%. I think I would probably go over with the Chargers, though. I mean, we got to look at what their schedule is. Let's see what the, let me see. What is the, come on, man. I'm looking for LAC, and it's just like, there it is, Chargers. It's LA space Chargers, that's why. Bastards. They're right at 9.5, though, at DraftKings, so the 10.5 is a little bit of a high number, so that's kind of influencing why the pickers are coming in on the under 10.5 there at the tune of 77%, but I think I would go over this 9.5. This 9.5 looks like a low number to me with the Chargers. And remember, the Chargers, they were implementing an entirely new system last year with Jim Harbaugh in there, so you got to think they're going to be a little bit better this year than they were last year, and they made the playoffs last year, and it's like people are just going to, I think, probably continue to just not think that highly because, yeah, they made the playoffs, but they got there in kind of ugly fashion, and then what do? They lost terribly to the Houston Texans, I believe. I think that was one of my bets, the Houston Texans. I had some nice playoff bets in that first round of the playoffs, man, and that was one of them. Gave it out on the show. Clint is a Chargers fan. Yes, he's from San Diego, so he's a fan of the formerly San Diego Chargers. He's a fan of the Padres, and unfortunately, he's a fan of the Lakers because the NBA does not have a San Diego team. So, and I don't think he's a hockey fan, but those are his 3 teams there. What was I going to say about the Chargers? Yeah, so the Chargers, Jim Harbaugh, man, I mean, I think that with this being his second season now, I expect them to actually do a little bit better than they did last year. And last year they did pretty well. I mean, they made the playoffs in the first year with Harbaugh's system. The thing about Harbaugh is he runs a really ugly style of offense, man. Even though he has Justin Herbert there, I mean, you got a good quarterback there in Justin Herbert. So that does help as well. I mean, he's a really good quarterback. But Harbaugh runs a style of offense that the public hates because he runs this really slow, grinding offensive style, which he likes to control the game, like control the way the game's going, man. I mean, pace is not really a thing that you talk about. You talk about it in college basketball. You don't talk about it in the NFL. But with the Chargers, that's what they do. He likes to take all the time off the clock on offense. He runs like the slowest offense in the league because he wants to play a possession game and possess the ball way longer than the other team, which I think is good. I think it's a good way to play the game. Hold on to the ball, have as much possession as possible, as much possession time as possible. Because what are you doing? You're resting your defense. The longer that you possess the ball, your defense is resting, and you're keeping the ball out of the opponent's hands. So it's a good strategy. You got to have the right offense to do it. You need to be able to have an offense that can move the chains. But that is what they were doing last year. So I like it, and the public hates that style of offense. So I think the Chargers continue to be kind of an undervalued commodity as far as that's concerned. And, they still have Justin Herbert. They actually added Najee Harris this year. So will that improve their rushing attack? I mean, probably. I mean, I think Harris, I don't think he's that bad. And I think he was bad in the Pittsburgh system. I just think Pittsburgh had a bad offensive line. I think Harris is better than he looked when he was on Pittsburgh, man. So I think Harris might be a nice ad for the Chargers here. This is not a bad offense, man. They got McConkey, ridiculous name, the lad, McConkey. I mean, I think he's going to do better. They got Mike Williams there still. I mean, their offense isn't that bad. It's a fairly talented offense. Their defense, I mean, they got Khalil Mack there. I mean, they have some fairly talented defenders there as well. Tierre Tart is a terrible name, though. Oh, man. Anyway, yeah. But yeah, I think, the Chargers, I mean, I kind of like it, man. And let's see what their schedule looks like. I'm diving deep for the first time with you guys. So they started out the season against Kansas City, which, by the way, has a star on it, an asterisk. It means it's a neutral site game, which is where it's in Brazil, of course. The stupid NFL, NFL international crap that they're doing now. And if you remember this, Brazil, they're playing against Kansas City in this game. Brazil, we saw that Brazil game last year between the Eagles and the Packers. I want to say, is that what it was? It was Eagles-Packers in the first week or whatever. That game was insane, dude. The turf was just totally churned up. Nobody could defend anything. So that may actually help the Chargers' possession offense in that game, too. I don't know. I don't want to handicap that specific game in that much detail yet, but it's a tough game. I mean, they got to face Kansas City. But they got, the Raiders. I don't think are going to be that much of a problem for them. I mean, we'll talk about the Raiders, but they're going to be implementing a new system. I don't think it's going to be, working right out of the gate, let's say. They do have Denver. I mean, they got to face Denver and Kansas City twice, of course, because it's their division. But they get some easy games in here. Giants. I mean, I don't think Tennessee is going to be that good. Jacksonville. Raiders, of course, they get twice. Their schedule's not one of the more difficult schedules, I don't think. So, for the most part, yeah, they do have to face Philadelphia. I mean, that's going to be somewhat difficult. At Dallas, probably not going to be that easy. Houston is a fairly decent opponent to face. But, I mean, overall, not a very difficult schedule for the Chargers, in my opinion. So, I like the over for the Chargers, over the 9.5 especially. I think it's a pretty decent play on the Chargers. But so far, out of the ones I've talked about, I think Kansas City under is my favorite, and I have not gotten to my two absolute favorites yet. I don't know, man. Well, yeah, no one watches American football. They're obsessed with football, European football, or world football, but not American football. But no, I think I don't know. I don't know what the tickets cost, but I think they did pretty much. I think they got a crowd at the stadium. I mean, people are gonna go they're just going to be like, oh, we're going to go, it's Patrick Mahomes. They're going to go to see Patrick Mahomes. I mean, last year it was, the NFL is always putting some of the, more popular teams in those games too, I think. So, I don't know, but we'll see. Next up is the LA Rams. The ESPN game has them at 10.5 with a lot of people disrespecting the Rams and going 74% here on the under. For the Rams, we have the line again at 9.5, though, so very similar to what we're seeing with the Chargers. Hey, it's both LA teams. They both have public on the under in this game, and the line is actually at 9.5 at DraftKings. 74% of the pickers are going under here with the Rams. Again, I mean, as far as this game is concerned, I mean, if the line is at 9.5 at DraftKings, I mean, it makes sense to just grab the under in this game because you get a game extra. I mean, every game matters as far as the number is concerned. I mean, that's a big move in the numbers. So, if you just want to fire on the under in this game, I mean, go ahead, even though you're dealing with the public there, but the line has moved, against it. But as far as what the actual bet is going to be for the Chargers and for the Rams, I was looking at the Chargers. The Rams actually are over 9.5 and minus 145. So the Rams' real number is actually probably closer to about 10 here in this one. So actually higher than the Chargers numbers. The Rams keep getting disrespected, man. I mean, they got disrespected coming into the playoffs last year. Remember, that was one of my bets in the playoffs, the Rams. I liked the experience, the coaching that they had over Minnesota. I'm a Sam Darnold hater, man, and we'll talk about Sam Darnold on this show as well. But, I gave out a play on the Rams. I gave it last minute. I was lying on my floor, actually over there, I think in my bedroom, doing the, what did I call it? The chiropractic bets or whatever. Maybe I should do more of that series and just lay on the floor and give out what my play is. But I gave out the Rams last minute there once I saw that a bunch of professionals were agreeing with me, and I already liked that side. I wanted to fade Minnesota, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it. So the Rams, yeah, I mean, generally to me, they seem to be a pretty undervalued team. The people don't like them. Nate, what's up, man? Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, but I think the Rams, the public doesn't like the Rams, man, for whatever reason. I think the Rams are going to get extra disrespected here because remember, they don't have Cooper Kupp anymore. But remember, Kupp, I mean, yeah, he was the best wide receiver that they had, but he was also injured quite a bit. And we'll talk about Kupp as well. Speaking about Sam Darnold and Cooper Kupp, yeah, we'll talk about them. But yeah, the Rams don't have Kupp anymore. But I think the public is going to think about that and like think that the Rams are going to be like way, way worse or something because they lost Cooper Kupp. I don't really think so, man. I mean, they still have Puka Nacua, and they added Devontae Adams. I mean, Cooper Kupp is a totally different type of wide receiver than Devontae Adams. You add Devontae Adams, you get a deep threat there now, whereas Nacua and Kupp are both kind of like shorter guys, like slot receivers. But, Devontae Adams is a different guy, man. He gives them a pretty huge deep threat, so I'm not even sure that that's a downgrade, to be honest, between Kupp and Adams. I think Adams, I mean, he was having to deal with that like Raiders system when he was there, and the Raiders, their system just wasn't using Adams correctly. I mean, when they got Pierce in there, they were using him a little bit more correctly, and then I think he wound up on the Jets last year, right? Because he was with he reunited with Aaron Rodgers for a little while, but still. Yeah, I mean, that's a big ad. I think it's a good ad for the Rams, man. Devontae Adams. They still have Williams as the running back. They still have Matthew Stafford. I mean, they're still an experienced offense, and I think their offense might, again, even be a little bit better than it was last year, so I'm not worried about that. So I do like the Rams to go over the, especially the 9.5, even though you have to lay minus 145 on that. Or if you can find like a 10, I would probably lean that way as well. I mean, of course, schedule is mediocre, moderate difficulty, I would say. They do have to face San Francisco twice because they're in the same division. They get Philadelphia on the road. Not easy, obviously, but that's going to be revenge for the Rams. So the Rams might actually have an upper hand in that game because the Rams want to get that playoff revenge. I mean, Philadelphia is a team that ended their season last year. They do have to face Houston, mediocre opponent there, but, I mean, they do have a bunch of easy games in here, man, like Arizona, Seattle, Carolina. I don't think that's going to be that formidable. Those opponents there, they get Seattle twice. I mean, Tampa Bay is mixed in there. I mean, this late stretch of the schedule, like Detroit's good. Obviously, that's a difficult game. San Francisco, but after they face San Francisco, I mean, they got a fairly easy stretch run here, to be honest, for the Rams. So, yeah, I mean, I think the over makes sense. They do have Jacksonville probably in London because, Jacksonville's the London home team now, so that asterisk game is probably in Jacksonville. The Baltimore game is not going to be easy, so their earlier schedule is kind of difficult, but it eases up after their bye week, so I expect, the Rams to get some of these wins here later. They get New Orleans at home. Should be a pretty easy win. So Rams over. I like that one as well. Yeah, that's right. What's up, everybody? All right. What's next? I'm going through in order here. We're getting through it. San Francisco 49ers, baby. Wait, how did they order these? I'm not even sure now. Are these alphabetical still? It feels like we have a ton of we still have a ton of teams left to talk about. San Francisco 49ers, though. Yeah, 49ers. They're getting massively disrespected in this game. And look at this. San Francisco, they were in the Super Bowl 2 years ago, and now what are we looking at? The public is 78% on the under 10.5 here. Yeah, I mean, we have one season where San Francisco misses the playoffs, and the public hates them, and they want the under, basically. This is one of my favorite totals, man. San Francisco, I like them to go over. I think San Francisco is going to be back in the playoffs here. I mean, this is the 49ers, man. I mean, they dealt with a ton of injuries last year. I mean, their season got totally derailed. Christian McCaffrey got hurt, and that was basically it, right? Like, I mean, you lose the star running back, right? He is back. I mean, I think Ayuk was hurt as well. Of course, people are going to downgrade them because they lost Deebo Samuel. So, yeah, I mean, Samuel is a huge piece. They did lose him, and I've been known to make fun of Brock Purdy, and I've been saying that when Brock Purdy loses any of those offensive pieces, he tends to not do well. But I still think San Francisco is probably going to be able to get over their win total here, man. I think they're getting a little bit of a soft number here. It is at 10.5, and it's actually juiced to the under, so you might even be able to get them over 10 or something here. I like them to go over the number. As long as these guys stay healthy, man. I mean, they're still going to have like most of these good players. And again, these guys were like all injured last year. Like they were using like a third string running back for most of the year last year. They still have Kittle there as well. He's a huge offensive player as well. Trent Williams was dealing with injuries last year, and he's one of the best tackles in the game. So if these guys stay healthy, they should bounce back and have a better season this year. And again, they missed the playoffs last year, and this is still a similar team to the team that made the Super Bowl a couple years ago. So even though I don't think Brock Purdy is that good, we're still talking about, good coaching, a lot of talent on that offense around him. And defensively, they got talent. Man, remember their defense was really beat up last year too. They had a lot of defensive injuries, man. So I think we'll see them probably come back here and be a little bit better. I think they lost Greenlaw. I don't know where he went, but they don't have Greenlaw anymore. I guess we'll have to look that up. But, I mean, Greenlaw's been hurt for them anyway, though, so it's not like they really even had him anyway. So I like the 49ers, man. And I think because they missed the playoffs last year, man, which means they're going to get a bit of a softer schedule, and people are going to overlook them a little bit. Like, they get Seattle and New Orleans. I mean, those are both road games, so those are not difficult opponents. Arizona, Jacksonville. I mean, this schedule, really most of their schedule. They have a late bye week, but their schedule is actually one of the easier ones that I've seen, man. I mean, look at this. Like what game on the schedule is even a definitive loss for the 49ers? Like, seriously. Like, what's their most difficult game? I don't even know. Like, this looks like the easiest schedule on the entire board here. So yeah, over for the 49ers is like one of the best plays, I think, on this whole thing. I like it a lot. I couldn't even tell you which game I think is like the most difficult game for them. At Houston, maybe? Is that really their most? At Tampa Bay? Maybe at the Rams, because it's a big divisional game. That might be the most difficult. I mean, they probably have the easiest schedule out of every single team in the league, man. So I like the 49ers over. I don't know what the number is on them to get back to the playoffs and make the playoffs, but that might make sense as well. Yeah, it seems like it's not alphabetical. Yeah, my autism is freaking out. I don't know what they're doing. That's true. The running backs did do well. They were using. Do they still have all those running backs, or did they lose some of them? I don't even know. I forget who they had. Garendo was one of them. He's still there. Taylor did get into some of the games as well. They had another guy though, who I don't think is there anymore. But whatever. Yeah, I mean, I still think their passing attack is still going to be pretty good, I think, man. I mean, they got Ayuk, Jawan Jennings. I mean, yeah, Deebo Samuel adds a completely different dimension where he does, he lines up in the backfield and teams don't really know how to defend him, but still, yeah, I mean, I think it's a really easy schedule for the 49ers. I think they go over that thing. Mason, that's right, Jordan Mason. Where's he at now? I don't even know. But the 49ers, again, they have experience too, and they're not used to not making the playoffs. So, also, if you want to look for 49ers to win their division, I mean, I don't know what the price is on that, but I think that probably is not a bad way to look either. Jennings is definitely good, yeah. Not to be confused with Greg Jennings, who I remember playing not too long ago. Next one up is my other of the two favorites, the Washington Redskins. I refuse to call them by the stupid name that they have. I'll call them the football team before that, because that's at least a hilarious name. 80% of people on ESPN are picking them to go over 10.5. And what's the actual line on Washington? Well, oh, come on, man. Do I have to really type in Commanders? I do. The line is closer to about 10. It's 9.5 is juiced a little bit to the over at minus 125. The public's going to look at this. You know that the public is going to see this and think, holy crap. I get over 10 or whatever at like almost plus money, or probably, plus money. What did Washington do last year? They had 12, 13 wins last year or something like that. So how is the line 9.5 or 10 here? Well, the odds makers are telling you they think Washington overperformed a little bit last year, and they expect some regression here, and I agree. And the public is going to be enamored with them, just like they were last year. And I told you, I thought the Washington, they made it further in the playoffs than anybody expected them to, I think. And then the big fade of them was when they played the Philadelphia Eagles in the playoffs after they pulled off that ridiculous upset of Detroit. Washington did, but I think Detroit just kind of took them lightly. Detroit just wasn't used to being in that position, being in the 1 seed. I think really the name of the game here is that Washington took a lot of people by surprise. So we saw the same thing happen with C.J. Stroud, right? Like when C.J. Stroud was a rookie, Houston implemented this offense. It was kind of like the what was that offense that Warren Moon was in with the Houston Oilers back in the day? I forget that. Was it run and gun? Something, whatever they call it. I forget what they called it. Whatever it was. Kind of a similar offense there with Houston, but I think part of the reason why they were so successful that first year with C.J. Stroud is because the league didn't know what they were going to do offensively. So you're running this entirely new offensive scheme. Sometimes the players have to get used to it and whatever, but other times the league just doesn't even know, like, they don't know what to expect until they see it. So, like, the first time through that league, that offense does pretty well. And I think that might be what we're going to see here with Washington as well. Because you remember C.J. Stroud, that Houston offense really dropped off last year. Houston's defense was actually the better unit last year. They were really good defense. Their offense was not very good at all. After their offense kind of lit it up the year before that, I think we're going to see this again here with Washington, man. Washington, their offense looked really good with Jaden Daniels, but I think that the league just didn't know what they were going to be doing, had to get used to it. But now I think that now we have a bunch of game film on what does this Washington offense look like? What are they going to do with Jaden Daniels? I actually think Washington's offense takes a step back here. I think they overperformed last year. And the public's going to still be enamored with them because remember, I just talked about Deebo Samuel. He's on Washington now. So when a piece like that moves around, when you get like a star player like that entering a new system, the public loves that even more. But I think that it takes that, new player a little while to get like kind of used to it. I mean, it's probably more so with like a quarterback change because he runs the entire offense. But still, I think it's going to be, a learning curve here for Washington. Yeah, their offense is still going to be good. I mean, it's Jaden Daniels, Robinson, who I think was hurt for a lot of last year, and I think Eckler was too. So those guys will be back. Good running back tandem. McLaurin is an awesome wide receiver. He'll be back. He and Deebo Samuel make up a good tandem there. Zach Ertz, very experienced tight end, still there. Yeah, sure, their offense is still going to be good. Name them the Colonists. Yeah, well, now the Colonials in college sports are getting renamed as well, like the George Washington University Colonials. They had to change their name to like the Revolutionaries because you can't talk about colonizing, man. You have to talk about revolution, which is like a more like very much like a violent leftist, like has violent leftist connotations to it. I hate that. But yes, the Washington football team, the Redskins, their offense is still going to be good, but I think they take a step back here. And remember what their big problem was last year. Their defense was awful. And yeah, I think they tried to address some of that with some of their draft picks, but still, I don't think this defense is going to improve that much, man. I mean, yeah, they do have Lattimore there, but still, I'm not thinking that this defense is going to be very good. So that was like the one thing I kept knocking Washington last year for the defense. Yeah, I mean, I think they take a step back offensively, and their defense is not going to improve that much here. And they get a fairly difficult schedule because they played well last year, even though I don't think they won their division, right? I think Philadelphia won the division. Washington came in second in the division. But they have to face, Green Bay at Lambeau. That's not easy. Couple of road games. And then, I mean, Chargers on the road may not be that easy. Dallas on the road, big divisional game, never easy. They have to play at Arrowhead. They have to play Detroit, which, Detroit's going to be real pissed off in that game. Detroit is going to have that game circled, so that's not going to be easy either because that's playoff revenge for Detroit there. I mean, even Denver is probably not really going to be a pushover there. They have to go to Minnesota. I don't know about that. And then this final stretch, they get Philadelphia, Dallas, Philadelphia in the final 3 games. Not really an easy stretch there either. They have to play with short rest. They have to play Dallas on Christmas. Look at this, the way the schedule finishes here. They have to go to the Giants, which should be an easy win, but then they have to face Philadelphia on short rest, even though that is going to be a revenge game for Washington because they lost to Philadelphia in the playoffs last year. Then they have even shorter rest playing Dallas on Christmas, and then they have to play a flex game at Philadelphia to finish the season where we don't even know when that game is going to be yet. That is a pretty difficult stretch at the end there. So I think that could definitely hurt them as far as their win total is concerned. It looks way too easy to take them to go over a number like this when they exceeded that win total by a lot last year. There's a reason why the odds makers have put that number out way lower than what they did last year. So I like Washington under. I think it's one of the best, man. Dan Quinn, good defensive mind. I don't know what the deal is, man. I think they were maybe the absolute worst. Cincinnati, I guess, was probably the absolute worst defense in the league last year, but Washington was really close to being one of the worst. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know that they turned that around here. I like the under. I think the best two plays for the win totals are San Francisco over and Washington under. Denver sitting at 9.5 in ESPN here. 64% are going over the 9.5. I don't even know what the actual number is on Denver at this point. Broncos, it is basically right at 9.5. So the DraftKings has the number right around the same. What do we do with Denver? I mean, Denver, they also had a new quarterback last year, new system. They got Bo Nix there. He looked pretty good. I mean, Denver's defense played pretty well. I mean, they came together. They had a good season last year. They made the playoffs. Not too bad. But what are we going to get out of them this year, man? Is Bo Nix going to, take that next leap? I don't know, because Jayden Daniels was really the star last year. So I think Jayden Daniels is probably going to have some regression there. As far as Bo Nix, though, I don't know, man, because he was kind of overshadowed a bit last season. So I don't know that Bo Nix is really as much of a regression candidate. They still got Sutton, I mean, really good wide receiver there. Mims, who started kind of exploding towards the end of the year last year. This should be an okay offense. I don't know what they're running. If the rushing attack is with Harvey here, I don't know what we're doing here with the rushing attack. Doesn't look that great for Denver to me. They got Greenlaw, actually. That's where Greenlaw is. He went to Denver, so that answers that question. They still have Surtain there. I mean, this defense should be fairly good, I think, for Denver. I think this is a difficult call in Denver, a very difficult call, whether they go over or under. We know they have to face Kansas City twice. That's not easy. Chargers twice, not easy. Cincinnati, I mean, this is a tough stretch. Chargers, Cincinnati, Philadelphia. They have to go to Houston. They get Dallas at home. They get Green Bay at home. It's kind of a moderately difficult schedule. I would say it's not that hard, not that easy. So it makes handicapping this total pretty difficult, because I think it's actually basically right around where it should be. Like, you're kind of expecting them to go like maybe just slightly above 500 on the season. Maybe Kansas City takes a little bit of a step back, though. Denver may be able to get, well, Denver got a win against them last year, right? In the last week of the season, which is part of the reason why I think Cincinnati didn't make the playoffs, was because Kansas City already had I think they had the 1 seed wrapped up, and they just rested everybody, and Denver just blew them out. So Denver actually did get a win, but Denver might split with Kansas City again this year. Denver plays them pretty difficult, so very, very difficult to gauge whether you want to go over or under. I mean, maybe a slight lean under, just fading the public there, just because Denver, I think, was a little bit too hyped going into the playoffs last year. So yeah, I mean, it's one of the ones I have the least good of a feel for, though. Green Bay Packers sitting at 9.5, which on the surface seems pretty low, because, I mean, they've been in the playoffs multiple years in a row, like looking pretty good with Jordan Love there. So that number seems low at 9.5. The public is on the over here in the game to the tune of 74%. What is the actual number on the Packers? It is 9.5, slightly juiced to the over, minus 120 on the over 9.5. Seems like a low number, man, for Green Bay. So I don't know. I mean, is Green Bay going to take a little bit of another step back here? I don't know, because they've been in the playoffs the last couple of years. It looked like they're actually improving with Jordan Love there and becoming like a perennial contender there. He's still there, obviously. And they have Josh Jacobs, really good running back there. Jaden Reed has been really good. They drafted Golden, I believe, so he's going to be another ad. They have a lot of actually good wide receivers, man. They got Daubs there, however you pronounce his name, and Christian Watson is still there. To me, it doesn't, and Kraft was really good last year, too. To me, I don't understand why the total is so low, man. It looks way too easy to go over with Green Bay, though, so I wouldn't really want to go over that number, just because if it looks too easy, it probably is. But, I mean, why are we lining Green Bay like that when they still have basically the same team as last year? I don't know. I mean, maybe their defense isn't really going to be that good. I mean, they do have McKinney there now. I mean, that's I forget where he was prior to this, but I think that might have been one of their pickups. Was he on Denver? I don't even remember, man. I forget who's who at this point. But to me, Green Bay, I mean, they have a pretty good offense, man. So how difficult is their schedule? And we know they have to face the NFC North, which is pretty tough. I mean, facing Detroit twice is tough. They do have to face Philadelphia at home. They have to go to Dallas, which probably isn't going to be that easy. They get Washington. They have to face Baltimore towards the end of the season, then go on the road to Minnesota, which always difficult game. I mean, it's a big rivalry there. I know I've been kind of overlooking Chicago here, although I still don't think Chicago's really that good. Same with like Indy and stuff like that. I'm just not shouting them out because I think they're just mediocre teams. I think it's a moderate difficulty schedule there for Green Bay. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, if you want to just fade the public, going under kind of makes sense here, but I certainly would not be jumping out of my seat to do that either. I mean, I could easily see them going over that number there. I mean, I think part of the reason why the number is there is just because their division is pretty tough. Houston Texans also at 9.5 in the game with 74% on the over, 9.5 there. I mean, what is their actual number? Oops, I just saw it there. They're juiced to the under on the 9.5 at minus 120, so probably makes sense to go under 9.5 on Houston, fade the public there. I mean, I think the public might still they might still like that CJ Stroud offense there, even though they didn't do that well last year. The public still might have that in mind a little bit, especially because Houston finished the season pretty well last year. I mean, they got into the playoffs. They destroyed the Chargers in the playoffs, and then they came fairly close against Kansas City on the road in the playoffs. So I think public's going to just kind of remember what they saw last. Houston, I mean, they still have C.J. Stroud, obviously. They still have Mixon there. They got Nico Collins there still. Tank Dell was hurt basically all of last year. I know because I had him on one of my fantasy teams. They got Dalton Schultz at tight end there now, which I think he is a new piece there. And they picked up Christian Kirk. So they have a pretty good offense. I mean, they have a lot of offensive weapons. Houston, so I mean, their offense maybe should take another step forward. Oh, and they added Nick Chubb too. So I mean, they have some crazy running back depth there, really. Nick Chubb, although he's really an injury concern. And they got Dameon Pierce still, who isn't really even that bad. I mean, as a third string running back, that's crazy. Their defense was pretty good last year, which we know. So if their offense does improve, you know, it's looking like Houston, I mean, they may do okay here. I mean, what does their schedule look like? At Rams, not that easy to start out. They do have to go to Baltimore, which is very difficult. Host Tampa Bay, I mean, that's difficult as well. They got to face San Francisco. They got to go to Seattle. So they have to play the NFC West, which is not that easy. Few difficult games in a row there, difficult stretch there. They do get Denver, who, you know, is going to be probably a team that's vying to make the playoffs. They have to face Buffalo, which is not easy. They have to go to Arrowhead, which is going to be revenge for Houston, but that is certainly not easy. Going to the Chargers is going to be a revenge for the Chargers because the Chargers lost to Houston. So it's, it's a somewhat difficult schedule for Houston. So, yeah, I mean, just based on what the public is doing with Houston, I guess I would still go under, even though they do have a lot of talent on that offense, man. But again, people might kind of overrate the fact that they got like Christian Kirk in there now and whatever. I don't know if the public is paying that much attention to a move like that, but they might overrate it a little bit. So maybe a slightly into the under there. I know not fun that I'm just kind of fading the public sentiment on everything, but I'm giving you the things that I think are actually like maybe worth putting your money on. I would still say 49ers over, Washington football team under, and Chiefs under, I think, are the top three in that order. Tampa Bay sitting at 9.5 in this game with 69% of pickers going over the 9.5 on Tampa Bay. I mean, Tampa Bay just seems to always just, you know, win this crap division that they're in and make the playoffs and then just not make it that much further than that. It just seems to be what they're doing. The line is at 9.5. It's juiced a little bit to the under at under 9.5. I probably would agree with the under, but you know that because they're in a shitty division, like they're not going to have that difficult to schedule. But they did win their division last year, so even though they're facing this crap division again, they are going to have a division winning schedule. So it's going to be a mix of difficulty there as far as their schedule is concerned. Of course, they do have Baker Mayfield still, obviously, and Mike Evans, who was hurt for a while last year, and still have McMillan there as well. So Evans will be back. I mean, the main target that they have on offense there. So that was a big blow to their offense, but they still played pretty well down the stretch and made the playoffs without him. I think he came back, though, right? Because I remember, didn't they get him like that record in the last week or whatever when he came back? But he did miss some of the time there. And they have Irving and White at running back, which is not that bad either. This Tampa offense, definitely not bad. They have a decent defense as well. I mean, they're a fairly good team. Looking at their schedule, what do they have going on with their schedule? I mean, they have to face their own division, which is going to be pretty easy. But actually, their schedule looks pretty difficult, actually. They do have to go to Houston. They have to face Philadelphia. They have to face San Francisco. I don't think Seattle's going to be that great. They have to go to Detroit. That's really difficult. To Buffalo, also difficult. At the Rams, not easy. They have an easy stretch at the end, though. Falcons might not be that easy. It's a big divisional matchup, but the Saints are probably not going to be good at all. Carolina, don't expect to be that great either. Miami, even though I feel like they're being overlooked a little bit, probably not that difficult either. So the stretch run for Tampa Bay looks like they might be, getting some wins in there. That'll help them make the playoffs. Is probably going to be what we see out of Tampa Bay. I would slightly lean to the under, but based on what their schedule looks like, they're probably going to have a worse record earlier on, like towards the midseason, and then get a little bit better with some wins later. It looks like based on what their schedule looks like, but I guess a slight lean to the under in that one. Arizona, the Cardinals. The public hates the Cardinals. 83% are taking the under 8.5 here. Thinking that 8.5 looks too big, but the Cardinals, man, it seems like the professional bettors are always saying, well, Arizona's undervalued, coming in. Well, of course, they're undefeated entering the season, but no, undervalued entering the season. It seems to always be kind of the narrative for the professionals. Like, we want to take the Cardinals, man, like to go over their team total, to be a sneaky play to win this division or whatever, and it never happens. They always just, they deal with injuries. They're just never quite good enough. Number is at 8.5 right there, straight up. Minus 110 on each side at DraftKings. So ESPN does have the number right on because the public hates them so much. It looks like I would probably just lean to the over based on that, just because the public looks like they really want nothing to do with the Cardinals. Maybe they'll be competitive and get over that thing, man. What does Arizona have as far as depth? Obviously Kyler Murray is still there. They got James Conner. I think James Conner was hurt last year, so they still have that going on. Where are their wide receivers? Their wide receivers aren't even listed here. The ESPN fucked up their depth chart, man. They got no wide receivers listed. Who were the wide receivers? Well, they lost Kirk. Kirk was on Jacksonville, right? What am I saying? Kirk was on Arizona, so I forget. Was he on Arizona, then Jacksonville, or the other way around? I don't even remember. But anyway, Kyler Murray is still there. James Conner, he was hurt for a while last year, so he should be back. Don't really know what we're going to get out of this defense. I'm not that familiar with most of their defensive players. Probably not going to be the best defense. How difficult is Arizona's schedule? They get New Orleans right out of the gate. So New Orleans, Carolina, those are not difficult opponents. They do have to go to San Francisco after that, though. But this early stretch doesn't look that difficult. Indianapolis should be mediocre. Tennessee, don't expect to be very good. Green Bay will be difficult. Have to come out of a bye and go to Dallas, which won't be that easy. They have to face the 49ers. Well, of course, they face the 49ers twice because they're in the same division. But, they get Jacksonville, which is going to be pretty easy. Houston on the road won't be that easy. The Rams twice isn't that easy either. Bengals isn't going to be that easy. Rams, that's a tough finish there where they have 2 flex games right now where they don't even know when they're going to be playing those games. So they are going to have, I think, time off there between December 21st and then whenever they play these next games. So they do have to face Cincinnati and the Rams on the road. So that's not going to be that easy. So those games might be what put Arizona out of the playoffs, basically. We'll see. And then going to Tampa Bay is not that easy either. So I would slightly lean to the over just because the public doesn't like them, but I certainly would not be shocked if they don't do it, especially with that those last couple of games might wind up putting them under that win total. We will see, of course. We have the Bears. Actually, you know what? I know how they, here's your autism. I know how they organize this. They organize it by the win total number. So that's why we're going from best to worst here. So we're gonna end with the worst teams in the NFL. That's why all those good teams are at the top. It's ordered by it's ordered by their season win total. How many do we have left? Not that many. Chicago Bears, all right, at 8.5 here, and the under is getting a lot of the picks. It's 75% under 8.5, and of course the Bears didn't do well last year. It was Caleb Williams' rookie year, and I am a Caleb Williams naysayer. I mean, I don't think Caleb Williams is very good, to be honest. He's probably gay as well. Under 8.5 is juiced at -125. And for the Bears, even though the public is also coming in the under, I don't necessarily disagree with it, man. I mean, I don't really see the Bears taking that much of a step forward here, and they're in a very difficult division. I mean, is Caleb Williams going to take another step? I don't even know, man. I'm not convinced that he's even better than Bagent. Or they actually have Case Keenum there now, who is an experienced quarterback at least. But Bagent, I mean, I like Bagent. I think he's actually good. I'd like to see him be the starter, to be honest. Caleb Williams, I'm just telling it how it is. I just don't think he's going to be that good. The Bears do have Swift still. I mean, he's talented running back there. I think he got hurt last year. DJ Moore, very good wide receiver. Odunze was their big wide receiver draft pick last year, and he's going to be there. Luther Burden, I think they drafted this year, right? So they do have pretty talented wide receivers for Williams to throw to, and Komet still at tight end there. So, yeah, I mean, not a terrible team. I mean, probably kind of a mediocre defense, I would guess. I don't know. I don't even know how good or bad their defense really is going to be. As far as their schedule is concerned, I mean, again, they do have to face the NFC North, so that's not that easy, facing the Packers, the Lions, and the Vikings all twice. They have to go to Washington, not easy. They get Dallas at home, but that's not easy. At Baltimore, at Cincinnati, that doesn't look easy either. They have to go to Philadelphia. They're facing the Packers twice, as I said. They have to go to San Francisco as well. I mean, look at this final stretch. Green Bay, San Francisco, Detroit, and Green Bay before Cleveland as well. The final stretch, Philadelphia, Green Bay, both on the road. Then Cleveland should be easy, but then Green Bay, San Francisco, Detroit. That final stretch is just, man, that's brutal. That is a tough slate of opponents there. So their schedule doesn't look very easy to me either. So I think the public is probably right on that one. I think under is probably correct. The Bears there, even though they have some decent offensive talent there, I just don't know that it's going to be. It looks like it's not going to be that easy for them, man. Dallas Cowboys. A lot of people like the under 8.5. Again, I think this is recency bias, though, man. I mean, when do you ever get value on the Cowboys, on America's team? I mean, you do now when the Cowboys are just really, really shitty year after year, especially now that they had a bad season last year and didn't even make the playoffs. I think you might actually get value with the Cowboys right now going over. 68% of the pickers are going under 8.5, but to me, 8.5 seems very low for the Dallas Cowboys, man. What's the actual number on the Cowboys? It looks like it's around 8, I guess. I mean, over 7.5 is juiced to -160, so 8.5. Yeah, I mean, I think an over makes sense because, I mean, why were they so bad last year? I mean, they lost Dak. I mean, that was a huge blow to them. Dak was hurt for, at least half of the season last year, so they're going to get him back, right? So, I mean, I expect improvement there. He's listed as questionable, but okay. They've changed some of their personnel here. They got Williams at running back, who I think was on Denver last year, and they have Miles Sanders. So, I mean, maybe their running back tandem will be able to do something there. They actually picked up George Pickens, so they're going to pair him with CeeDee Lamb and Tolbert. I mean, they have some decent receivers there. It's a decent offense, man, for Dallas. Their defense, I mean, they still got Micah Parsons there. I mean, he's probably the best player they got on defense. I think their defense just seems to always underperform, though, for whatever reason. I don't know. They have talent on that defense. It just doesn't seem to mesh. But I think the number is too low for Dallas, man. I mean, if their offensive players stay healthy, I mean, I just don't really see why this line is quite as low as it is. I mean, they start out at Philly. That's not easy. They do have to face Green Bay, which won't be that easy either, but some not as difficult opponents mixed in there. They do have to face Washington, but they face Washington twice. So we'll see what happens with that. They do have to face Washington and Philadelphia twice. I mean, they get like Arizona at home, Vegas. I mean, those shouldn't be that difficult. They do have to face Kansas City and Detroit. That's not easy. Chargers, maybe not that easy either, but they get them at home. They get Minnesota at home. Last game is against the Giants. I mean, we don't expect much out of the Giants, so I don't think it's a terribly difficult schedule, though, for the Cowboys. So, again, I think you fade the recency bias here, and you go over there. I mean, again, it's still this Cowboys team, when they had these guys, in their offense, as bad as the Cowboys are, as far as like what their fan base is going to say or whatever, the Cowboys constantly make the playoffs and then lose in the playoffs, right? It's just that last year they didn't even make the playoffs because they lost Dak, but the Cowboys were like still kind of in the running there pretty late in the season. So I think over makes sense. Miami is also at 8.5 with 75% of the pickers going under on Miami. What do we want to do with Miami? So the public doesn't really like Miami. I'm not that high on Miami either. And the under is actually heavily juiced, under 8.5 at -180. So the number's really close to 8, like maybe even bordering on 7.5 there. So it seems like the public might actually be correct on this one and on the correct side with Miami. And the thing about Miami is that their defense has just been bad like the last few years. And I think that might continue. I mean, they just don't have a good defense, man. I think that'll continue to be the case here. They do have Jalen Ramsey, but still. Storm Duck, by the way, great name there. But I'm not so sure. And they picked up Bradley Chubb, but or actually, I don't know, when did they get? I don't even know when they got him, but still, I don't think we're going to get much out of the defense there. Miami does still have the same offense. I mean, they got Tua, but he's got to stay healthy, of course. Tua seems to always be an injury concern. They still have Achane, who's obviously good. Tyreek Hill, good, but kind of a head case. I mean, Waddle is still there. They picked up Westbrook Ikine from Houston there. Smith is still at tight end. So it's the same look offense for Miami. Defense, again, not very good. So, yeah, I mean, Miami, I think the number is probably about right for Miami. I think maybe the under is actually the way to look here. How difficult is their schedule? I mean, they have to go to Buffalo in the third week, but it doesn't look terribly difficult early on. I mean, I know I'm kind of discounting New England and the Jets and Carolina, but those are not the most difficult opponents. They do have to face Baltimore and then Buffalo and then Washington. I mean, that is a difficult stretch, although Washington looks like it will be NFL Europe game probably. They get the Saints and the Jets when they come back, though, after the bye, which that's probably not that difficult. At Pittsburgh, maybe a little bit difficult. Cincinnati, not that easy. Their schedule, not actually that difficult, though, overall, I would say. So, not one of the more difficult schedules. So, I mean, maybe a slight lean still to the under just because of what the market looks like and because I really don't like Miami's defense. But the fact their schedule isn't that difficult, it might help them actually get over. Yeah, I mean, Jerry Jones, I mean, he's not really improving Dallas. I agree with that. But, I mean, if their offensive players stay healthy, man, I mean, you're probably going to see them make the playoffs and lose in the playoffs again. Dallas can't stop the run. Yeah, I mean, that might always wind up being the case. Minnesota is a really weird one, man. And we got 8.5 on Minnesota, and the public's coming in on Minnesota on the over 8.5 here. But, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be so sure about that, even though the over 8.5 is juiced at -145. But the public, I think, is kind of remembering what happened last year, right, where Minnesota was the hot team early in the season last year. Everybody was in love with Sam Darnold. I was telling you Sam Darnold was going to trail off, and I was right, and he did at the end of the year. But Sam Darnold's not even on this team anymore. So Minnesota is moving on, and it is going to be J.J. McCarthy, because remember, he was going to be their starter. They drafted him last year out of Michigan. He was going to be their starter, and he got hurt in preseason and never played. So I think it's really tough, though, man. When you have a new quarterback like this, it depends, right? Because it's going to be this like new look offense. So either the league is going to be, thrown off by what Minnesota's going to do on offense, and they're not going to know right away how to defend it, or the new quarterback is going to struggle adjusting to the NFL. So which one of those is going to happen here? I don't know, but I actually kind of lean towards the latter. They still have Justin Jefferson, who's one of the best wide receivers in the game. Obviously, Addison's still there. Jefferson has been dealing with injuries as well the last couple of seasons. So again, we're talking about these guys staying healthy here. They still got Hawkinson at tight end, Aaron Jones at running back. They have Jordan Mason. There's your guy there. They got him over from the Niners. And then on defense, a similar look on defense, I think, as well. I still got Van Ginkel there, and Hargrave, Allen. I mean, those guys still all kind of in the mix there. Blackman. So actually, where did Blackman come from? I don't even remember. I get some of these names confused with other names too, but really, I think with Minnesota, they have an experienced coach. I think Kevin O'Connell is still there, but with Minnesota, you got to figure out what is the J.J. McCarthy offense going to look like. So it's a very difficult handicap for Minnesota, but I think an under is the safer way to look on Minnesota, because they might struggle with a new offense here, and their schedule's not going to be that easy because they made the playoffs last year. They had one of the best records, so they're actually probably lucky that they lost to Detroit and didn't win the division last year, because that gives them an easier schedule this year. But they actually have 2 neutral site games in a row, week 4 and 5, which is bizarre. They're having to face the AFC North, which is not easy, really. So Cleveland isn't going to be very difficult, but they have to face Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, and Baltimore. And I think they face Cincinnati and Baltimore both on the road somewhere in here, right? Oh, no, they face Baltimore at home. So actually, it's tough to gauge, because which team is considered the home team in these neutral site games? Who knows? So actually, it looks like Minnesota is considered the road team in both of those, because they're playing Cincinnati and Baltimore at home. But whatever. They still have to face Detroit twice. They face Philadelphia. They got to go to the Chargers. They got to face Washington, Dallas on the road. Green Bay twice, obviously. Detroit twice. It's not really the easiest schedule. Cincinnati, again, I said as well. I would lean to the under with Minnesota. I think it's a fairly difficult schedule. We don't even know what's going to happen with what their offense is going to look like. JJ 180's passing a game. What does that mean? I don't even know, man. Andrew, what's up, man? Thanks for the tower. Yeah. All right. But yeah, I think we're fading the public with the under in this one too, man, because the public, again, is just thinking about what Minnesota did last year, but it's going to be a completely new look offense there, and I'm not sure how McCarthy is going to adapt. I said last year I thought Jaden Daniels was going to be the best of that rookie class, and I got it right. And I don't know. I don't think McCarthy is going to be that great, to be honest. We'll see. Maybe better than Caleb Williams, because Williams, I'm not a fan. Pittsburgh Steelers are sitting at 8.5 with 69% picking over on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Of course, I think the public is now kind of rolling in on the over here, especially now that they got Aaron Rodgers. But because they got Rodgers, the line must have moved, right? Oh, actually, it didn't. It's still at 8.5. So interesting, 8.5. We know one of the things about Pittsburgh is that Mike Tomlin has still not had a losing season, I don't think, with Pittsburgh. I think he's been 500 or better every single season with Pittsburgh. He's there, and of course, Pittsburgh did just get Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers is an improvement for them. Oh, average passing yards per game in college is 180. That's not good. Michigan, he was playing on Michigan. Michigan had a good defense. They were a much more defensive-oriented team. Remember, that was with Jim Harbaugh there too, right? Wasn't it? And Harbaugh, as I said, runs that style of offense. It's just kind of grinding. He likes possession offense and a defense and running the ball quite a bit. All right, so Pittsburgh, I do think Aaron Rodgers is an improvement, man, because, Russell Wilson, I don't think he's been that good for a while now. He just wasn't getting it done. I'm an Aaron Rodgers fan, as we know. I mean, I think he gets way too much shit, obviously, for his strangeness and political views. I like Aaron Rodgers. I mean, you can go watch the documentary that's on Netflix and watch him going on his ayahuasca trips and whatever. But I still like Aaron Rodgers. He's a weird dude, and I know he just showed up to training camp now, and he is all of a sudden married, and I think we don't even know who his wife, I'm guessing, is. I don't think he's gay. I mean, he's dated a bunch of hot women in the past, but I don't even know who he's married to, but he has a wedding band now, but maybe that'll put him in the right mental state. But, man, I mean, he was on the Jets, man. I mean, that Jets team, I mean, I don't think it mattered who their quarterback really was. That Jets team, I don't think they were really going to get it together that much. And Aaron Rodgers had a few decent games after he came back. I mean, remember, he was injured in the first game 2 seasons ago and missed the entire season, had to rehab the whole time. Last year, he threw too many interceptions, but I think this, talent around him, the system wasn't necessarily that great there with the Jets. And I mean, they gave him Devontae Adams later in the season, so he had that weapon there, and they had some signs of life near the end. So I do think Aaron Rodgers, I'm hoping, just to prove the naysayers wrong, that Aaron Rodgers does pretty well. But I would still probably be looking at an under here with the Steelers, because you're still talking about Aaron Rodgers is still probably going to be overvalued by the market a little bit here. And I don't know, man. With this, they lost Najee Harris, and now they have Jaylen Warren in there, so their rushing attack really doesn't look that good to me, to be honest. And their offensive line, I think, still might be a problem. So that's going to be an issue, but they did pick up DK Metcalf and Robert Woods, and they have Calvin Austin III, so they actually have some pretty good weapons for Aaron Rodgers to throw to, but they're going to have to get some chemistry, man, so they're going to have to build up that chemistry, which might hurt them early on a little bit. I mean, obviously, they still have TJ Watt, they got Patrick Queen there, Darius Slay is over there now, so they picked up Slay from Detroit, I think. Minkah Fitzpatrick is still there. Joey Porter Jr. I mean, this is a pretty good defense that Pittsburgh has. I mean, Cameron Hayward, of course. I mean, they usually have a pretty good defense. I think this defense is a pretty formidable one for Pittsburgh, so that does help. Of course, their schedule is not going to be very easy because of the division that they're in. They start out not that difficult, though. They actually don't really have a really, really difficult game until they have to go to Cincinnati, but then they have to face Green Bay. Chargers in there, not really that easy. They get Cincinnati twice, obviously. Buffalo, and then, of course, they get Baltimore twice. They do have to face Detroit on the road. So it's not that easy of a schedule. And again, because some of these earlier games, they might have to be gathering some chemistry there still. They might do a little bit worse than you'd expect early on. So I probably lean to the under, unfortunately, because I want to see them do well. I want to see Rodgers do well. We'll see what happens, but that's the way that I lean there. This is going to be a boring rest of the video, man, because we're talking about the worst teams now, and these are just totals that I don't really have an opinion on necessarily, or that strong of an opinion. Actually, Seattle, I do. Under is getting 71% of the pickers are on the under 8.5. But what gives, man? I thought people liked Sam Darnold, because this is where Sam Darnold is now, is on Seattle. And what is the line on Seattle here? No. It is basically at 8.5. Well, 8.5 juice to the under at -140. So the under is getting money, and I agree with the under. I think the public is right on this one. I mean, we're talking about a Seahawks team that is going to be in a real transition here, because they got Sam Darnold. And again, I don't even think Sam Darnold is very good, but he's going to be their starter now. And they have moved away from Geno Smith, and they have Kenneth Walker still is there. They picked up Cooper Kupp, and they got Valdez-Scantling there. I don't remember when they got him. And, of course, Smith-Njigba is going to be their new number one wide receiver. With Cooper Kupp, man, I'm wondering if Kupp is even going to be that good, man, because he's hurt all the time. And I think the Rams system really kind of got the best out of Kupp. So I don't know that Kupp is really going to be that good with Sam Darnold there, to be honest. So I don't love this offense, man. I don't think Sam Darnold is that good. I don't think he's as good as he looked. I wasn't really a Geno Smith fan either, but I think Sam Darnold is still kind of a downgrade there. So I don't love it. And all these new wide receivers, man, they let go of DK Metcalf and Lockett. So neither of those guys are here. And I forget where Lockett went, but they don't have either of those guys anymore. So it's a completely new look offense for Seattle. So I just don't love it. As far as the defense, I mean, I'm not that familiar with some of these guys. They got DeMarcus Lawrence there, though, who I think, where was he? Was he on Dallas? Am I getting these names wrong? I don't even know. So they did add him. I mean, a pretty big piece on defense, but still, I'm not expecting a whole lot out of Seattle at all here. They're not in a very easy division either, so that doesn't help. They have to face San Francisco right out of the gate. Then they have to go to Pittsburgh. Schedule slacks off a little bit. They do have to face Washington on the road. They get the Rams twice, San Francisco twice. That's not very easy. I mean, some of their schedules are not that difficult. Minnesota's going to be a weird game with Sam Darnold facing his former team. The schedule actually isn't one of the more difficult ones, but I still just don't really see it. I think an under still probably makes sense for Seattle. I don't like it. I don't think Sam Darnold is very good. And that's just the way that it is, man. And was Pete Carroll at Seattle the whole time up until now, or has he been gone from Seattle for a while? I don't even remember when he left Seattle, but we're gonna talk about Pete Carroll in a minute here. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't even know who Seattle's coach is right now, but I just don't think it's a great scenario for them. The New England Patriots not getting a lot of respect here. Under 7.5 is getting the pickers here. 76% going under on the Patriots. I'm probably going to disagree on that one. It looks like they have over 8.5 now. So, I mean, if you're picking in this game, you got to go over 7.5 because the line is actually 8.5 with juice to the over there. So, it looks like a lot of money came in on the over on the Patriots. So, you got to pick the over in this game. But I think that even at that number, I mean, it's kind of a high number, but it just seems like the odds makers are begging you to play under. Because, I mean, the Patriots have been so bad. Like, basically, since Belichick has been gone and Brady has been gone, the team has been awful. Or really, since Brady has been gone, the team has been awful. But now Belichick is obviously not there. They had a terrible season last year. Gerard Mayo obviously did not work out. But who do they have in there now? They got Mike Vrabel, man. And he is an experienced coach, and he knows this Patriots system, man. So he knows what Belichick was doing. So I think it's an easier transition for the Patriots. And I actually think Drake May is decent. I think he was a decent pickup, even though I've hated the Patriots for a while now, even though I'm from New England. I was a fan of them up until the Belichick-Brady era, and I hated both of those guys. Didn't like them. But now I'm kind of neutral on the Patriots now as far as, I don't hate them really at this point. I like Mike Vrabel. And I think he's going to be a decent coach. I don't hate Drake May either, and I think May actually might turn into something. I mean, he showed some flashes. Yeah, I mean, I do think he does have potential. Brady was carrying the team, yeah, for sure. I think Brady made Belichick look good, to be honest. Even though I think Brady was a little bit overrated as a quarterback as well. I think that Belichick, yeah, I mean, I think he had a lot of talented players on his defenses a lot of the times. I think Brady carried him as well. Belichick, I mean, he's been a moron basically wherever he's gone. Like, he ran Cleveland into the ground. I don't like him. I don't think he's good. But yeah, Drake May might be something. I mean, they still have similar guys that they had last year, but their other big addition was Stephon Diggs, even though we did just see him kind of like partying on a boat or whatever. But I mean, it's during the off season, so I don't really care that much about that. Diggs, talented wide receiver, and is he going to come back and do something here? Maybe. I mean, of course, these guys do have to develop chemistry with each other. They do have to figure out Mike Vrabel's system, but I don't know, man. Something tells me the Patriots are actually going to be kind of in the mix here, and it just looks crazy that the number is this high. When what do they win? 4 or 5 games last couple of years? So how is the number this high? Like, again, it seems like the odds makers are begging you to go under with them, and I think that an over does make sense, and I think they have a pretty easy schedule too. I mean, early on they get Raiders, Miami, Carolina. I mean, Pittsburgh at home. It is Aaron Rodgers. Pittsburgh not a bad team, but still maybe not the most difficult game. Carolina, pretty easy. They do have to go to Buffalo, but then they get Saints, Tennessee, Cleveland, Atlanta. I mean, Tampa's not that difficult, really, on the road. But I don't know. Jets, pretty easy. Giants, easy. At Cincinnati, not easy. They do have to face Buffalo, Baltimore late, but then they get New York and Miami. I mean, Buffalo's obviously the team to beat in this division, but the Jets and Miami, not very good. I think the Patriots do have a shot at coming in second place in this division this year. Not a very difficult schedule either, so I actually do lean to the over with the Patriots there. Belichick in North Carolina, that's not going to happen at all. North Carolina, that North Carolina team has been so bad defensively for so long, even though Belichick is known for being more of a defensive coach. I don't see it at all. North Carolina is also not enough of a football powerhouse for that to be a consideration, I don't think. All right. Even though maybe just having Belichick there at all might help them recruit a little bit, but still. Atlanta Falcons also sitting at 7.5 with 63% of people picking the under 7.5 on the Falcons. I don't know, man. The Falcons are going to be a difficult one to gauge. Over 7.5 is at minus 140, and I actually probably agree with that. I mean, as far as picking, I think you do want to pick the over because you're fading the public and agreeing with the odds makers here. So I think that's the way to go there. 7.5, not that much of an ask for Atlanta in a pretty easy division to be in, man. So I think Atlanta might actually be okay here. And I actually kind of like Michael Penix. And they still have Kirk Cousins there. And they got Easton Stick, who was on the Chargers as well. So they got some decent experience there. And they still have Bijan Robinson, Drake London. McLeod was doing some things last year. This is not a bad offense, man. I actually like Penix. I like Penix, man. I actually think he might be good. I think he might turn into something. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's my bias, but I actually was kind of like anti-Washington, University of Washington, though, when he was there because they were just all offense and no defense. So I was betting against Washington more often than not. But with Atlanta, I think the public is disrespecting them. I actually think they might be putting together something decent here. I think Penix might be all right. Defensively, I don't even really know who these guys are, to be honest. So I can't really tell you if their defense is any good or not. But I don't think they have a very difficult schedule because they wound up not winning their division last year. They're facing their own division here, of course, which is not a great division. So they get Carolina and the Saints twice. They get Miami at home. I mean, at New England, it's kind of probably a bit of a toss-up game. At San Francisco is obviously not easy. They do face Washington at home. At Minnesota, maybe slightly difficult. They get a neutral site game against Indianapolis. Probably not difficult, though. I mean, they face the Seattle team that I think is probably not going to be that good. The Jets shouldn't be very good. Arizona, probably not very good. Rams, difficult, but they get them at home. Not the most difficult schedule for Atlanta, really, either. So I do think over is the way to look with Atlanta. Even though I know, again, I'm mostly just going against what the public is thinking here. Now we're really getting into the drags with Carolina. 58% of people are picking over 6.5 here on Carolina. I don't know, man. I mean, as you can tell by what I've been saying, I don't think Carolina's that good, but the over is juiced at minus 125. I mean, do I agree with that? I don't know. I mean, Carolina, they have young guys that seem to be kind of doing something. I mean, Bryce Young had a really bad rookie season, notoriously, but he showed some glimpses last year, towards the end of last year, as being, a little bit better. Maybe he will be. I mean, Chuba Hubbard, however you pronounce his name, Chubba Hubbard is, Chubby Hubby is, he's turned into a really good running back. And they actually have ATN as well. And Dowdle. I don't know how ATN is down to their third string, but whatever. And then they got Thielen and Leggett, who Leggett looks like a good young guy too. Young wide receivers. They have some good wide receivers on this team as well. I mean, their offense might actually be fairly decent. And I don't know who McMillan is here, but they actually have a decent offense. Even Coker and Renfro aren't really that bad. Not that bad of an offense. Defense, hey, they got Michael Jackson, baby. So maybe he'll help out, man. Maybe they'll be moonwalking or something here. I don't know how good their defense is really going to be. Probably not great. So that's probably kind of the issue because they do have some young talent on the offense. They seem to be slightly improving, but I don't know, man. They're in a bad division, so they do have some easier games. And they came in, last place last year, I'm pretty sure as well. So they have some easier games there against Jacksonville, Arizona. They get the Jets. They get some easy games there, and the Saints are probably going to be bad. Probably the worst team in the division will be the Saints. Tampa's still not going to be that easy, but this is not a very difficult schedule for Carolina. So, yeah, I probably would agree with the over. They do get Buffalo and at Green Bay. That's not easy. And at San Francisco is not easy. Rams, not really that easy, but I don't know. The schedule, it seems a little bit on the easier side to me. So I do think maybe over is probably correct there. Oh, that's the younger brother of Travis. Why? What is his name? I don't even know. So it's a different ATN. All right. Oh, it's Trevor. I thought it said Travis. All right, Trevor. All right, my mistake. All right, and then we have the Colts, who are the team that I have been rooting for since I was anti-Brady and Belichick. I was pro Peyton Manning. The public is really, really not giving the Colts a lot of respect, going under 6.5 on this one. And, of course, last year the Colts, didn't make the playoffs, but it seems like they're always kind of right there and just like missing the playoffs by 1 or 2 games. The over 6.5. Oh, no, wait, that's Carolina. Excuse me. Where are the Colts? Colts are actually at 7.5. So I think if you're playing this game, I think you got to go over 6.5 and fade the public there. But we want to go over 7.5 on the Colts, though. I don't know, man. The Colts, it's kind of difficult. I don't even know who they have as a coach now, and their quarterback situation is just really, really a mess. It's kind of a toss-up. Anthony Richardson, I think he's still hurt, so we're probably going to get Daniel Jones starting, and is that a good thing? Probably not. But, I don't know, man. The Colts are a better team than the Giants, I think, so maybe Daniel Jones, maybe it won't be as bad. He's got, some guys here to work with. Pittman Jr., Downs, not bad wide receivers there, really. Jonathan Taylor is, of course, still a really, really good running back. And they got Herbert backing him up now, which isn't that bad. They did draft Riley Leonard as well, who's listed as a third-string quarterback right now. They got some guys there. They're going to be figuring out who their quarterback is going to be, and maybe one of those guys will emerge as a decent quarterback. Defensively, they do have Buckner there, who's good. I think they have an, I don't know, mediocre defense, maybe. What are we going to get for the Colts schedule here? They get, of course, they're in a terrible division. They could do fairly well in this division with Tennessee and Jacksonville. I don't think those teams are very good. They get Arizona, they get the Raiders, they get Miami. All those games at home, too. It doesn't look very difficult there. San Francisco is not an easy opponent, obviously. Houston's not going to be that easy. Kansas City on the road is most likely a loss. At the Chargers, at the Rams, not that easy. But overall, not that difficult to schedule. So probably would still lean to the over with the Colts at that number, but it's not not something I feel that strongly about. Pierce, deep threat monster. I thought that said a deep throat monster. I'm like, is he gay? What? Nancy, what's up? Thanks for hanging out. Long-ass video, man. I apologize. How many teams do I have left? Not that many. Jacksonville Jaguars. The over 6.5 is drawing 71% of pickers. They're at over 7.5, juiced to -125. So I do think if you're playing this game, the over is probably the way to go there because the line is off. The over is at 7.5. I'm not a huge fan of Jacksonville, though. They seem to just be kind of failing recently. There's your guy, Travis Etienne. He is still there. Brian Thomas Jr. does look like he's going to be something, though. That was a good draft pick for them, Brian Thomas. But their wide receiver core is really young as they drafted Travis Hunter. I hate the Sanders as a Colorado, but Travis Hunter probably is going to be good. But, it might take a little bit of time for these guys to all ramp up. And Trevor Lawrence is always hurt, man. And if he's hurt and you're gonna have Nick Mullins in there, that's not gonna be that great. I'm not sure that I see it really for Jacksonville. Yeah, I don't know how good their defense is really going to be either. I mean, their schedule's probably not going to be that difficult because they didn't do that well last year. And they're in an easy division. They get Carolina right out of the gate there. But I think they are facing the NFC West for the most part. So they get Cincinnati, Houston, San Francisco, Kansas City. That is a difficult stretch right there. That doesn't look good for them. They get the Rams in probably a Europe game. Yeah, that is a London game because Jacksonville is the London team. Houston on the road. I mean, well, they face Houston twice. Probably not going to be that easy. LA, Chargers, maybe not that easy. Kind of an easier later stretch, though, where they get Arizona. They get Tennessee twice in the back half here. At Denver won't be easy. Indianapolis, I mean, it's probably going to be a fight in both games. I mean, they get the Jets at home. Probably not that difficult. Arizona, maybe not that difficult an opponent either, but so a little bit of a better second half to their schedule, but I mean, over the 6.5 in this game, I'd probably just pick. I'd go the over just because the line's at 7.5, but at 7.5, I'm not quite so sure that I like it. So we'll see about that. Will, what's up? Thanks for hanging out. Lucid, yeah, that's right, man. Love sports. Oh, thank you. I mean, you just get to hang out with me, and I'm autistically rambling. That's right. JC, what's up? Yeah, that's. Oh man. What are we talking about? Jacksonville's owned by I don't know somebody who's Indian. I don't know. They should change their name to the Redskins, obviously. The other type of Indian. All right. Raiders were all the way down to the 5.5. Now we only have we don't have that many teams left here. Raiders at 5.5. 80% are picking them to go over 5.5. Which I think is maybe the Pete Carroll effect because we know the Raiders got Pete Carroll. Over the 6.5 is at -145 here, so it does make sense to go over 5.5 in this game because the number's actually at 6.5 juice to the over. But I think the Raiders are being overvalued, man. I mean, they lost Davante Adams, as we pointed out. Davante Adams is on where's he at now? The Rams? Yeah, I think so. So even though, yeah, Vegas, they're going to have Pete Carroll come in there. I mean, he's an experienced coach, but implementing a new system like that for players that aren't familiar with the system, I think that takes some time. So I don't expect him to be good right away. Geno Smith actually is coming over with him, though, so that helps a little bit. So that's where Geno Smith went. He went with Pete Carroll over to Las Vegas. So that will help them a little bit that they have Geno Smith coming over, so he knows Pete Carroll's system. But the rest of these guys don't. They have a new running back. They drafted Gentry there, who I don't know how good he's going to be. He was great in college, but he was facing, kind of weak teams for the most part. So I don't know, man. I think he might be stoppable in the NFL. And the rest of this roster just doesn't look that great to me, man. I mean, I'm sorry. They do have Mostert backing him up, so that's not too bad. And Sincere McCormick, terrible name, Sincere. They still have Max Crosby. He's still there. And Christian Wilkins is a pretty decent defensive tackle who used to be on Miami. He's over there now. Overall, though, I don't like the personnel that they got here. I think they're going through a transition period here. They got to learn a new system, except for Smith there. I'm not a fan of Smith, though, really, anyway. What does the Raiders' schedule look like here? I mean, I think they almost made the playoffs last year, right? So their schedule's probably not that easy. I mean, they have to go to Washington early on. I mean, facing the Chargers in Kansas City and Denver all twice is not going to be that easy. They do get Tennessee. That's probably an easy game. Jacksonville, maybe easy. They have to face Dallas, but at home. They do have to go to Philadelphia there. They get the Giants pretty easy there. Cleveland is easy. It's not not the most difficult schedule, but I still think that with all these changes they're going through, I still think an under is probably the way, although I pick over in this ESPN game, but I think under the higher number there. Yeah, the Jaipur Jaguars there. Jaipur almost sounds like diaper, by the way, if that's how you even pronounce it. I don't know. The Saints, boy, the Saints. We have 76% picking the under, 5.5 in this game on the Saints. The Saints, the number is heavily juiced on the under 6.5 at -190. So the 5.5 is about where the number would be here, even though the DraftKings just doesn't even offer it as a number because they're basically fucking you. Like, hey, either way you go, you have to play on a huge favorite number here. Thanks, DraftKings. New Orleans, I'm not expecting much at all. I'm expecting them to be one of the worst teams in the league. I mean, who the fuck is their quarterback? I don't know. Tyler Shaw, I guess, is their quarterback. So he's the guy they drafted, I guess, right, from Louisville. So I guess he is listed as their number one right now, but I mean, there might be a battle in training camp because they still have Spencer Rattler there. Hayner played some games for them last year as well. We'll see. Right now, Shaw is listed as the guy who's going to be their quarterback. They do still have Kamara and Olave and Rashid Shaheed, though, and they got Brandon Cooks, so they do have some talent on this offense here. And remember, Kamara and Olave were hurt for a while last year, so that did hurt their offense a little bit, but still, it goes through the quarterback, man. If you don't have a quarterback, which I'm not sure that they do, that's going to hurt, and I don't know about this defense. I mean, they have Matthew there, but how good is he at this point? The Honey Badger, is he like 40 years old? I don't know. I don't know what we're even going to get from this defense at all, man. So and they have Kool-Aid McKinstry. They're one of the most ridiculous names. I mean, I'm not expecting a lot out of the Saints at all here, and I think their schedule, because they came in second place and almost made the playoffs last year, their schedule's not that easy. They have to face San Francisco and Buffalo early on. That's not that easy. There's a little bit of a let-up here, maybe, middle of the schedule there. Their schedule's not really that difficult. If you look at how they finish, I mean, Jets, Tennessee, at Atlanta, it's not going to be very easy. I mean, these divisional games aren't that easy, but their division isn't that good. So it is a fairly weak schedule that New Orleans has in the front part of it. The early part of it is more difficult, but I just don't see it for New Orleans. So I would not want to go over with them. I just think they're, oh, man, Jacksonville shitskins, Kamara, I don't know, man. Kool-Aid is your favorite, yeah. He's the Kool-Aid man. I mean, I like Kool-Aid the beverage, man. It reminds me of being a kid and whatever. Yeah, I mean, I'm not seeing much out of the Saints, though, even though they have a pretty easy schedule. I'll go over in this game because the line, I mean, the public is just heavy on the under here, so I'll probably just throw it on the over when I pick in that game. But that would not be a strong lean at all. I'm not expecting a whole lot out of the Saints. I think the number's lower than what they did last year for a reason. I mean, we don't know who their quarterback is going to be. So, I mean, slightly lean to the over at that number, but just, whatever. Giants, 64% are picking the over on the Giants. Why exactly? I am not entirely sure. I don't know what the public sees in the Giants here, and they were terrible last year, and they seem to be a laughing stock, but over the 5.5 has 64% of the picks on it. Under 5.5 is where the money actually is, though, at minus 155. So that's probably the way I would go. I'd pick the under. I would probably lean that way. Looks like the Giants, they're going to struggle. I think that I actually don't hate their. I don't hate what they did in the draft, man. Jackson Dart, I think he's going to actually be good, but they need to give him a chance. So I think the draft was okay for them. They got Dart, they got Scadaboo, and they got who else did they get? Neighbors was their draft pick last year, and he's probably going to be pretty good. They got somebody else that I thought was pretty good, though, right? Theo Johnson, I actually like him, too. I think they drafted him as the tight end, so they have some pieces there, and they actually picked up Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston as well. So Jameis Winston I actually like, man. So I think Winston is just, he hasn't been given his fair shot in the NFL because he throws too many interceptions, but he is really, really fun to watch out there, and he brings an energy that not a lot of people do, and he can throw passes that not a lot of people can throw. I think he's a talented quarterback. I like him. I like Dart. Tommy DeVito, at least, is now down to their fourth string quarterback. So he can just sit on the sidelines eating his mother's chicken parm. Russell Wilson, I don't like Russell Wilson at this point, man. I think his career is coming to an end, so I don't like that he's there. But maybe they're going to battle it out in training camp and see who actually wins the starting quarterback job. And I kind of hope that it's Dart, but if it is, there might be some growing pains there. So I don't know that the Giants are really going to be that great. And if it's Russell Wilson listed as their starter, I think the under is the way to go with the Giants, especially there. They have Tracy Singletary at running back. I don't even know if that's a great running back pairing, to be honest. Neighbors is pretty good, but I mean, this is kind of a mediocre offense, though, really looking at it. Defensively, they do have Dexter Lawrence here. They picked up Brian Burns. I think they traded to get him before last year, I think, from Carolina. So they have a few guys on defense that are all right. But, yeah, I mean, I'm not expecting much from the Giants here. I'd probably go under. And I hope that I wind up being right about Jackson Dart being the best quarterback in the draft class, because that was my opinion on this current quarterback draft class. And hopefully he gets his shot, man, because I like Jackson Dart there. Kool-Aid McKinstry is ridiculous. N-word F-slur, that's right, yeah. Well, there's Noah Kaniga, right? That guy. Is he in the NFL? I think he's playing in college right now. I don't know. So we'll see what happens with that guy. The Jets also are 5.5 in this game with 68% picking the under on the Jets here. What's the actual number on the Jets? Actually, over 5.5 is getting -160. So I would pick the over in this game. I would go over 5.5 on the Jets, man. Nobody likes the Jets. The Jets suck. They don't have Aaron Rodgers anymore. Justin Fields is going to be their starting quarterback. Doesn't look good. I mean, they're not going to be good. I don't think. Breece Hall is still really good. Garrett Wilson is still really good. And they picked up Josh Reynolds, I guess, over from Detroit. And they got Alan Lazard there, I guess, who is no longer going to have Aaron Rodgers throwing to him. So some talent on the offense, except for the quarterback position. I'm not a fan of Justin Fields, man. I don't think he's going to do well. Tyrod Taylor, interesting, but still probably not very good. So I do not like the quarterback situation for the Jets. Don't like how they coach. They're going to be bad, but I would still lean to the over on that number just because I think that number is, I mean, just based on the market read there, I think the over does make sense. And the Jets still have a good defense, remember. Their defense has been good the last couple of years, and they still have a lot of these guys still on their defense with Quine and Williams, or however you pronounce his name, is still there. Will McDonald is still there. Sauce Gardner is still there. Ridiculous name, but yeah. How about Quantez Stiggers? How about that name for you? I don't even know who that guy is, man. But yeah, the Jets should have a good defense. I think the defense is the reason why maybe the over makes sense. That, and they probably have a pretty easy schedule because their division isn't that difficult. But they do start with Pittsburgh and Buffalo. That's not that easy, though. Both of them at home there. Of course, they're going to have to face Buffalo twice. They do have to face Dallas. Denver in a neutral site. They have to go to Cincinnati. That's not that easy. But overall, actually, this final stretch doesn't look that difficult, except at Buffalo and Baltimore. Those are not, and at Baltimore. Those are not easy, but this late stretch doesn't look that difficult. So the Jets may be able to rack up enough wins against some of these weaker opponents to make it happen there for them. We'll see what happens, man. And I don't even know who's the Jets coach now. I don't even know, because I know they fired Saleh during the season last year, and I don't even know who they picked up as a coach now. If they have a new coach in there, I don't even know, and I should know because I'm doing a video on this, but I already gave out what I think my favorite plays are. Eastern Michigan, that's right, is where Noah Kaniga is. I hope he joins the NFL, man. Tennessee Titans, we're getting to the bottom of it here. Over 5.5 at 63% of the picks here. I mean, I guess the public likes, they like what the Titans did in the draft, man, because they like Cam Ward, right? That was their number one draft pick for the Titans, right? They took Cam Ward first. Over 5.5 does have -150 juice on it, but it is slightly public. I don't really necessarily love it. Titans, I mean, I also don't even know who their coach is at this point, but the Titans, I mean, I think they might be going through some, they're going through a transition period, man. I mean, Cam Ward, is he going to come and light it up right away? I'm not so sure. I mean, some of these quarterbacks do, and you got to try to identify which of these quarterbacks are going to come out and light it up right away. Like, is he going to be Jaden Daniels? I personally don't really think so. Ward, I think, was facing a lot of weaker defenses. One of the things about Jaden Daniels and Jackson Dart that I actually like is that they faced SEC defenses in college. They faced good defenses. Ward was playing at Washington State and Miami, and they didn't face great defenses, so I'm not sure that Ward is going to be that great out of the gate. Tennessee does have Tony Pollard, Calvin Ridley. They picked up Tyler Lockett, so that's where he went. So some okay players on offense there. Here's Chig Okonkwo, by the way. A great name there as well. One of the better names. I just don't know. I don't know what we're going to get out of this. It's obviously not a great team. And again, I think, transition-wise, I'm not expecting that much from Ward here. So I'm not expecting a whole lot from Tennessee. They do probably have a fairly easy schedule, though, because they're in a bad division, and they finished with a bad record last year. I mean, going to Mile High right away and then facing LA right after that, the Rams, isn't that easy. And they have divisional matchup against the Colts and then Houston. I mean, not really that easy of a way to start out. 3 straight road games, too, even though Arizona and Vegas, I don't think are going to be that good, but it's not really that easy of a schedule early on for them. And they do have to face the Chargers as well. They have to face San Francisco on the road and then Kansas City. That's not that easy either. Jacksonville twice towards the end, though. Cleveland in there, New Orleans in there. I mean, not the most difficult ending to the schedule, but I think it's difficult enough. Probably I'd be leaning to under. Brian Callahan is their coach. All right. And, Aaron Glenn. I knew that. Former cornerback, right? Aaron Glenn. He played for the Jets. I remember him playing. Yeah, so he's the coach. Hard to gauge what those guys are going to do. Where was Callahan before? I don't even remember it. It's kind of hard to gauge what's going to happen with those coaches there. And then we've reached the bottom, man. The Cleveland Browns are at the very bottom, and the public is going over 4.5 to the tune of 70% of the picks. I mean, we know the Browns are going to have a difficult schedule now. I don't want to look at my bookmarks. You don't want to see my bookmarks, but I'm just kidding. I actually don't bookmark anything. Look at all my porn bookmarks, baby. The over 4.5 is actually juiced at minus 160. I mean, 4.5 is a very low total, given that it's a 17-game season now. But, man, I don't like Cleveland at all. I don't think it's going to be good for them. And Myles Garrett deserves better, man. He's still there, and he's so good. Their defense is going to be good again. I mean, they got Denzel Ward, very, very good. I think Newsome is pretty good as well. I mean, some of these guys are really good on defense, so their defense should be really good again. And Jordan Hicks, by the way, the guy that the Red Sox just traded for, he's on the Cleveland Browns now, baby. No, it's a different Jordan Hicks, but man, kind of weird. As far as their offense is concerned, Deshaun Watson might be back. I mean, I actually think Deshaun Watson is a decent quarterback, but I mean, his career has just been totally derailed by injuries and by people hating him for, getting rub and tugs everywhere and whatever. And I guess, I don't know. He's been charged with sexual assault, I guess, or whatever. I don't know how legit the allegations are or not, or if it was more just like, hey, give me a happy ending right now, whatever. I'm paying you for it. Who knows, man? But if maybe the rub and tugs actually help him, man. He was better when he was getting them, so they should let him get them. And they also have Kenny Pickett, who I don't think is really even going to be that. I don't think he's going to be that good. He's there now. Joe Flacco is there, experienced quarterback, but I mean, he's sort of at the end of his time, I think. And they drafted Dylan Gabriel, so I think the quarterbacks are actually probably going to be battling it out a little bit to figure out who their starter is actually going to be. So I don't even think we know. They drafted Dylan Gabriel, who played at Oklahoma and Oregon, I believe. Not facing the greatest defenses in college in those conferences, but we'll see. Ford is their starting running back, which he's all right, but I mean, they don't have Chubb anymore, although Chubb was always hurt, so I don't know. They got Jerry Jeudy still there and Cedric Tillman, and they got Deontay Johnson. I mean, decent wide receivers, I guess, and Njoku is a pretty good tight end, but still. The Browns, I mean, they're going to have a better defense than offense. Their offense is not going to be very good, especially when we have no idea who their quarterback is going to be. Yeah, I mean, I would probably just still, I mean, I guess maybe I would go over in this game just because it's juiced that way. But, I mean, getting a price like that on the under, I mean, maybe I could see leaning that way, getting a better price. Or if you're getting a number of like 5.5 at some other book or something, or 5, that number starts to get a little bit high. I mean, you're probably looking at a really difficult schedule for the Browns as well. Even though they finished as one of the bad teams, look at how they start. Look at this start to the season. They're going to be like 0-5, 0-6 to start the season, right? I mean, they get Cincinnati, Baltimore, Green Bay, Detroit, Minnesota, in London, I think, and then they don't even have a bye after that, and they have to face Pittsburgh on the road right after that. They might be 0-6 to start the season, man, and then it lets up a little bit with Miami, New England, New York. They got to face Baltimore, not the Jets, although the Jets and the Giants both suck. Then they do a Baltimore. They have San Francisco later. Buffalo's not going to be easy. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati to finish. So the finish is pretty difficult, too. They have a pretty difficult schedule, man. One of the more difficult schedules, despite the fact that they didn't have a good record last year. I think came in last place, but they're in a really difficult division, and it doesn't get any easier for them because they're facing the other most difficult division. So they have to face the division that they're in, the AFC North, and they have to face the best NFC division, the NFC North. So very difficult schedule for them, and I think that's it, man. I've run down all of it. 2-hour video there for you. The plays that I actually like in order, I like San Francisco 49ers to go over their win total, wherever it is in like the 10 vicinity. I think they bounce back. They're a good team, man. I like Washington under the Washington football team, the Redskins under whatever numbers out there. If it's like at 9.5, I think that's good to go under it. I think it looks way too easy to go over. I think they regress a little bit. And I like the Chiefs under based on how many games that they got away with last year and escaped last year. And because they're in the Super Bowl hangover, I think the Chiefs under is probably the third best. And that will do it for me, yeah. Oh, he's the son of Bill Callahan, all right. Yeah, Brian Callahan was the OC for the Bengals, all right. And they had a pretty good offense there, but maybe that might not say much for their defense, though. The milking videos. But in my case, it's not, milking dudes' dicks, though. Like the milk videos, you know what my kink is, man. The lactation. I do go for that. Yeah, the breastfeeding, especially lesbian breastfeeding. Yeah, I'll go for that. Watson's agent's fucked up. Not milking like Deshaun Watson gets milked. Watson should do an OnlyFans, man. Yeah, that's right. He should just do it now, man. He would make a lot of money by doing it. Thank you, Charles. It's late at night. Hopefully everybody has a good night. I'm also in the middle of watching Friendship, by the way, which I don't know if I love it. I've watched the first half hour of it. It's a new comedy it's a bro comedy with Paul Rudd and Tim. What the fuck is his name? I don't even remember his name. You guys know who he is. I forget. I don't know. They're neighbors who form a bromance. We'll see where it's going, but I like movies like that. It's a new comedy, but I don't know. I haven't thought that I don't think it's been that funny yet, but we'll see where it's going. I'm into it, and we'll see where it goes. As long as it doesn't get too woke, at least, which it has not yet. Tower Game for life. That's right. Hopefully something happens with that. Thank you guys for all hanging out. Learn to Toad on Twitter, of course. GiveSendGo.com/TowerGameToad Toad is still up. If you want to throw some support my way before I shut it down. And then Patreon.com/TowerGame. We've, of course, some of the Patreons have ditched because the show may or may not be over. But if it somehow continues in some capacity, I know you guys will be back. But if you want to sub to the Patreon, you'll still be in the Telegram with us. And you'll still get access to all the bonus content that's still out there right now. So Tim Robinson, yeah, that's his name. Yeah. Is he the Tim from Tim and Eric? I don't even remember. It's been so long. I don't even remember who's who anymore. I think it might be, but, I think you should leave. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. I think you should leave. Yeah. I forget if he's the Tim and Eric as well, or if that's a different Tim. It's been so long. I get all these comedians mixed up at this point, man. I'm losing my mind. But yeah, I guess go check that out. Oh, that's Tim Heidecker. Yeah, that's right. Correct. Yeah. But anyway, I'm free advertising for a mediocre comedy, basically from me. But I think that movie's been getting advertised too much. I don't even know what like services it's on because I have my ways of finding these movies. I don't want to incriminate myself on here, but there are certain ways that you can watch movies like this. So I don't know where it's at right now, but I think it probably is on some streaming service, I would imagine, at this point. But I do like Paul Rudd, though. I mean, I like a lot of the comedies that he's in, so we'll see where it's going. And Kate Mara is in it, by the way, and she has like a fairly hot lesbian scene back in the day in some movie with Ellen Page before Ellen Page completely ruined herself. It's actually a pretty hot lesbian scene. I like it. You can go check that out too, with Ellen Page still as a woman, which she always will be. She's just a hideous woman now. Kate Mara also not bad looking and still not looking too bad. She's Tim's wife in that movie. All right, that's gonna do it though. Yeah, Learn to Toad. I mean, I put everything out there. Bohemian Grove, if you want to go get tickets to that, which I think are still available, it's coming up in less than a week, man. And I will be there. I'll be down there. That's Friday and Saturday, man. It'll be a fun time. Some big names there. It'll be fun. Fun and funny and conspiratorial. Peace out, everybody. Have a good night. It's late, baby. Thanks a lot. Thanks for hanging out, guys.